Hello, Twitch chat. Welcome everybody to the August Nova Cup. And with me on the cast today, it's none other than Offmer. Offmer, thank you for joining me and welcome to the stream.
Hello, thanks for the welcome. Excited for another Nova Cup.
Yeah, last month was an absolute banger. We had some incredibly close races. We had some real nail-biting games. And I think this month might it's kind of hard to say, but I think this month might be even better. If you've had a look at the bracket, this is just by far the highest elo Nova Cup that we've ever had, right? Like nearly all 8 teams in Division 1 are 3K.
Yeah,
It's
which is just insane.
it's really insane. Like this is just pushing the boundaries of what Nova Cup can offer, and it's going to be some amazing gameplay on the cast today. So I'm really excited. Now, our first game, Offmer, we have Abraceet versus. Who are they playing against? They're playing Mayo in the Hole, which is Yoni C and Tupla Mayonisi. So, Offmer, have you got any thoughts about these two teams?
I mean, we have the classic superstars, Witterson and King Dance, always reliable to make day two and usually winning the tournament. Having some troubles because they're not playing as much, but I will say Witterson has been grinding a lot, and I think he's even rank one as of today. So
Oh, is he? What a beast!
maybe
We
peak
might be able to
form
get eyes
Witterson
on that.
maybe.
We might be able to get eyes on that, guys. Let's have a quick look. He is, in fact, rank 1 beast. Let's just swap scenes very quickly. There he is, Mr. Widdowson, rank 1, sitting pretty. 3.1k elo, just in time for the Nova Cup. So well played there, Mr. Widdowson. That's very well deserved. But right behind him, Offmar, I don't know if you noticed there, the sharp-eyed amongst you is Tupla Mayonisi in rank 2. So he's
Yeah,
he's no slouch himself. He's 40 elo behind Widdowson, but 3,070 elo points is no mean feat there for double mayonnaise. His Smurf account is rank 9 as well, so he actually has two accounts in the top 10. Yoni C, his partner, the Fiesta God himself, he's ranked 17 at nearly 2.9k, and King Dan's, of course, the legend, the GOAT. He's currently ranked 11, but that's way below his actual
yeah.
performance, right? It's just because he's not been playing so much ladder lately. But I mean, these guys, Widdowson and King Dans, when the chips are down, I would put my money on them over maybe any other team. But I don't know, they've been a little bit rusty the last couple of months, so we'll have to see if
Yeah,
they can blow those cobwebs off.
I gotta say, if you there's a team that can punish people who are making mistakes, it's definitely Johnny C and Tupla
Right?
because they play some dirty, dirty Legion, but it
Oh,
is
oh, they do.
effective.
I've been
They
talking
got
about.
some nasty starves.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, I kind of feel a bit hypocritical to call these guys Starve Lords because I think the last game I played was with Bog. Shout out to Bog, and we were against Adams, and we did something like 3-9 against him. So I have to hold my hands up and apologise. That was very filthy behaviour. That's not how the gentleman should act. So Adams, if you're listening, I am very sorry. Can you ever forgive me? But Offmer, we like you were saying, we certainly expect to see some starvy behaviour coming out from Yonisi and Topla Myjonisi today. That's really what they've been known for. And it works really well for Topla because he kind of came out of nowhere this season. Like, he's always been a decent player, but this season he's just like stormed the top 10 and stayed there for
Yeah,
the entire season. Like, he's just been playing really, really well lately. You have to hand it to the guy.
yeah. He's a very solid player. I mean, he has a pretty diverse range of play styles, or like mastermind options. I mean, he does tend to favor overbuild building and going for those longer saves, like we mentioned, but it doesn't. People who favor overbuilding definitely can still push workers when it's when you're sending them too often. So
Yeah.
he's no slouch, and I mean, he even can pop a Fiesta of his own. So maybe we'll see that when after they get a win with Johnny's Fiesta.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
Johnny can definitely play other stuff too. He's not just like Fiesta just helps him because he likes to play with a lot of mind games, super aggressive, super overbuilding, trying to just mess with you when you're trying to mess with him.
Yep.
So he's no slouch with other mastodons like Cartel, or even the Castle. I've seen him play sometimes.
So we should see some pretty cool strategies there, just with the mastermind picks alone, right? And what
Yeah.
masterminds pair well with each other and against other masterminds. So, for example, if King Dans and Widdowson expect a Fiesta in game number 1, what kind of masterminds might they pick to try and counter that?
mean, you probably expect something quick as well. Either trying to pick Fiesta into Fiesta. Fiesta sending Fiesta is always a tough matchup for the guy getting the sends. You can also just play something standard as well and just try and survive and outscale.
Hmm.
Because if you keep up with the Fiesta gold that's given to you from the leaks, like you can stay in the game, pressure them just as well. But I would expect to see a cartel, at least one, just someone who can keep up and maybe hold with the extra early game gold.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So we'll have to. I mean, we'll have to see, right? Like, it's going to be a super interesting one. And like you say, I was seeing Topla Mayudinisi practicing his Fiesta as well. So definitely expect to see a few of those pickups. King Downs obviously has been abusing Chaos a lot lately, so we'll expect to see that as well. Widdowson, I think he is maybe. I don't know. He's the hardest one to call, right? Like, you know, Yoni C's
Yeah.
playing Fiesta. You pretty much know Topla's playing Fiesta. You know King is going to play Chaos. But Widdowson, like, he doesn't really have a standard mastermind. He plays a lot of Castle when King lets him. Um, but other than that, I mean, the guy can just play anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him on ladder popping some Fiesta himself even lately.
Oh, really?
So I'm trying to get some nasty stuff going as well with the long saves, like 3 to 6, stuff like that, where you're just taking over the early game. But I've
Mm.
also seen him just chill and pick his standard stuff, Cartel, Chaos. I've even seen him pick Cash out a couple times, which is something I don't usually expect from him. But
Yeah.
um, obviously, all these masterminds are pretty close to each other in terms of how you play the game, so nothing too crazy for one of the best players to be able to play everything.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think the interesting part will be how they try to kind of plan those masterminds in the opening stage, what they're going to play with each other, what they're going to play against the enemy as well. Like you say, trying to get that Fiesta into Fiesta is it's a bit of a mind game before the game has even started, right? So if they can do that, if
Yeah.
they can pick a Fiesta into Johnny C thinking he's going to open with it, then you're kind of a bit favoured just from wave one already. So we'll have to see if that kind of thing plays out or not. We do have a lobby open currently. We're just waiting for Widdowson now, it looks like.
Yeah, old bad Witterson.
That's fine. It gives me more time to enjoy my nice cup of tea before we have to start the cast.
Do you have a preferred uh, tea?
A preferred tea.
Yeah.
Well, this might come as a surprise to you, but I'm actually English, which means any tea. Any and
Any tea will
all
do.
tea. Yeah, any tea will do.
That's respectable.
As long as it's strong and warm, you know, then I'm happy. But this one is just absolutely perfect. So I guess if we're placing bets on this game, my money would have to be on Widdowson and Kingdowns. Just like you say, they have that tournament pedigree. They've got way more experience playing together than Topler and Yori C have, who I think this is their first cup pairing up together. And they just, they've played so many of these tournaments. They can work well under pressure. They can plan things out. They know that tournament play is different from ladder play, etc., etc. While Topler and Yoni C, while both fantastic players, this is their first tournament, certainly together, and I think maybe ever for either player. So it'd be really interesting to see kind of their debut performance, how they do. But yeah, I think I would give the edge to King Downs and Widdowson in this one.
Yeah, I think so as well, but I really do expect it to be 3 games because it is very hard to not lose a game to Johnny C and Tupla.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it might be easy for them to lose games to random players too because of they play a little. Like, I mean, Fiesta's just in general a pretty risky mastermind, so if you catch them making mistakes, you can kind of clap them. But yeah, I think that they can also have that edge, catch King and Witter off at least one of the games.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd love to see 3 games, right? So
Yeah.
these games are always more interesting when they're super close, and ourselves and the viewers always want to see the best of 3 played out to its fullest. So we'll have to see if that does play out, or if one team or the other can secure a quick 2-0.
Yeah, I expect to see some exciting games for sure because the king is going to be the low 100 HP early game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I expect to see some 260 cents on wave 7. That's my prediction for game 1.
I mean, like, if we don't see like 100, 120 on 4, like 180 on 6, 300 on 9, 400 on 10, something's wrong.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. We have been told the gamers are ready. It just seems that they have not yet been able to find the start button.
Yeah,
But, I did
well,
just jinx it because it looks like they have now found it. So, guys, thank you for bearing with us while we padded for time. But the time is now for the August Nova Cup to begin. Here we have game number 1 with Team Abrasiat on the left, that is Kingdowns and Widdowson. They are up against Team Mayo in the hole, that's Yoni C and Tukla Majanisi on the right. Game number 1, let's go.
yeah. I mean, Witterson seems, I didn't read his tagline before, but he's going to put his opponents into sandbox.
That is a banger of a tagline. I have to say, I'm impressed that there's someone who's loading slower than me.
Yeah, I mean, Witterson, master of all things, so even impressive in that regard. Cash up.
All right. Pretty solid, though. Very early game focused mastermind, the cash out. Maybe trying to counter the Fiesta that you were expecting. But Yoni C has actually gone for a Chaos pick.
Yeah, he swapped to his alt account, Professor Chaos, and things are looking good for him. It is very funny that his main account is like Fiesta only, and then he just made a Smurf that he literally plays Chaos only on, and there's Pawn Shop in this game, so I'm very surprised King didn't pick it, to be honest.
Tell me, Othmo, what is so good about Chaos with Pawn Shop in the game?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, Chaos gives you like a new role every turn, and basically lets you handpick units that can be good for whatever late game you want, and Pawn Shop lets you convert any of the bad units you had to build along the way into god tier units for whatever wave you think the sun is coming. So basically, you can never know what's going to be on their board, and they can always just build for the wave where the sun's going to come. And it's very frustrating to play against, but leads to some interesting mind games for sure. Because if you can trick them into pawn dropping a lot of their value, then they're going to play super under. But if they're able to get you with the quick swap of their board and hold the send, then obviously they've had it pay off.
Yeah, and it is just such a really mind-boggling combo in the late game, right? Like, if you can read it correctly, it can be almost stronger than any other combo, I think.
Yeah.
But
and we have some pretty slow starts, actually, when compared to what we thought it would be.
yeah, I mean, we've got double Fire Elemental. The unit was recently nerfed. I think it's still very, very strong. And we have a double Elite Archer opener as well, with Kingdowns and double Mayonnaise going for those. So, kind of a mirror match so far. The one difference is that Toppler is playing an Angler here. But, yeah, the 48 gold is kind of sad. They're slow now to get the 5th worker, while both Kingdowns and Widdowson have that extra Mythium generating. It's only for 20 seconds, but it counts, right?
Yeah. And they both go for king ups to these builds, which is fair. I mean, you can't really leak Fire Alley. Some people like to pressure it until 4, where you can maybe get someone breeding with, like a Dino, or even like a Fiend Send can catch someone who's like 7 workers. But
Othma, this is spicy. Widdowson's just gone straight to 7 workers without receiving a send on 2. He is not scared.
It's ballsy, but as long as there's not a long wave 3, which there shouldn't be, he's completely fine to do that. Because he has, his ads aren't the best, but he probably won't need much. Johnny can get like 60 in income, maybe?
Yeah. It would be super interesting if Johnny went for something like a Brute, right? Because that could absolutely destroy Widdowson's 7 workers. But I don't expect to see that. That's kind of abnormal play.
Yeah, it's a pretty risky play for wave 4 and only 60 myth.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge gamble to be -3 start on wave 4 already.
Yeah, right.
And for the chance to leak someone who could be overbuilding,
So he
'Cause
he
you
does
don't
go for
know
the
if
Fiend, which is
yeah,
more standard play, I think.
beat Crusher here from Witterson. Doesn't have money for anything better.
Yeah, Crusher is fine. Anything else is just awkward for him to spend his gold on, right?
Yeah, and he should be fine unless something funny happens. But
There's a couple of snails for Topla Genasi as well, but he's going to be more than fine, so let's just have a look at this Fiend. But I think Widdowson is going to be absolutely fine. Although, having said that, his Fire Elemental, it does go down. Oh, I think I spoke too early, Offmer. I don't think he's very fine at all. That's a 77% leak, in fact.
yeah, I think people are something Drakir mentioned that it's almost worth to just do even split on this wave. So stuff like that just happened with the big Merc going on your Fire
Yeah,
Alley.
but he can't really afford to do that with a Bone Crusher, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's stuck there for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's just kind of awkward. Gold didn't have a way to fix his split.
Yeah. Well, that kind of hurts for Widdowson, but to be fair, he was 7 workers at the start of Wave 3, so he has been generating more Mythium than anyone else in the game, and the long wave doesn't necessarily hurt him too much. So 77%, more than you would have liked, but I think it's not complete disaster.
Yeah, Tupla did not push to that send last wave. He forgot to sell his whip, but I think he's okay because he has the Pilgrim.
That's an interesting one. His aggro went very funny there. The Pilgrim is going to get focused heavily now by the entire right side of the wave. It will die. I'm not sure how fine he's going to be, Offmer.
Actually, yeah, it looks like he's having some trouble killing that big Scorpion. But
The
he
Scorpion
finally
does
gets
go
it.
down. Oh, he's just holding.
Genius mode. Taking
Absolute
a long time to
genius.
clear the wave too. Now he can send the Power Mercenary Drake if he wants it.
Oh,
He's actually sending
safety
the real
ball.
Power Mercenary.
Oh,
I think that is. I mean, this Archer is super dead, but I feel like he kills most of the wave.
I feel like a Drake was almost better here into an Orchid from Kingdans, right? Because one, King is likely holding here because Orchid is so strong on wave 6. But two, the Drake actually just does more damage straight up against the Orchid. So, I don't know, man.
The wave 6 change, I almost always favor sending mercs that deal damage.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mole's it's not like a slouch in terms of DPS, but he's not a Drake.
Oh, I think the Mole is attacking the Infiltrator as well, so the Mudman stays alive for a while. This thing lives forever. Oh, and the Orchid is focusing the Mole as well. That magic damage ripping through the Mole's natural defenses. He's just holding
Mole is just
easily.
such a huge gamble too. I mean, sending Drake is the safe way to try and leak someone on 6, because 1, it does 1,000,000 damage with the new wave 6, and 2, it gives you income. So.
Well, you were saying as well on wave 4, it's risky to send a Brute because then that's -3 income for the rest of the game. Well, Topla sending the Safety Mole here, that's -6 income that he's going to receive every wave from now until the end of the game. And it was for nothing. He didn't achieve anything with it.
On the plus side, he is super push, but I
is.
think he's giga leaking here. He is triple natural with a Pilgrim and an Angler. I think that was a bit of a mistake to push to whatever send he got last.
Yeah, I mean, he's 590. Let's see, because Widdowson, he sent a Dino so far, which on its own might still cause problems, but will he add to it or not? He gets another 40. He does go for that DT as well. This is going to be kind of dicey now, I think, for Mr. Double Mayonnaise.
Yeah, the Archer doesn't even tank the half of the wave, which it definitely could with the Arcane Armor and the Pilgrim healing it, but the thing is, Tupla also went for a resend versus King, who did not build and is dehardened, so he might also leak, but it's looking way better considering he only got the Fiend and his aggro is.
He doesn't even kill
perfect.
the Dino. He leaves that Dino on 2% HP. That's a 98% leak there for Topla Majanisi. Kingdowns, he's leaking 44, but again, I think he's fine with that.
Yeah. I think that kind of mistake is just... I think if he wanted the Angler from the start, right, so you should try and play around it, at least get the bounty by 7 to gather up those stacks, because now this long wave is leading to Johnny getting pressured here with the pack leader on 8.
Yeah.
Which might be tough for him because he has nothing. He can sell for boosted Orchid, I guess, is probably his best answer.
He's actually anticipating a wave 9 send. He's building a gate here.
This might be troublesome because it is quite horrible on 8 unless you're legit overvalue.
Well, so here's the thing, Offma. Gate is horrible on Wave 8, but it's quite good against pack leaders.
Yeah,
So
it's not bad. It might be able to let him kill the pack, but he has upper split, so what might happen is this pack leader chilling in the split until all the melees leave, and then it's just gonna murder the DPS slowly. But his Aqua is tanking pretty nicely.
We do get the melee creep out as well. He's not even going to kill the pack leader, actually. Yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Call that one a home run.
Oh, that's 105% leak for Johnny C. Yikes.
Waldo.
Oh, Waldo?
Uh-oh.
Top Lamajanisi leaking 33% to a single Fiend. That's a bit of a suspicious one there.
I mean, they have Mythium, they can go for this leak, but like you just donated them a bunch of gold and you're going for Triad Send. It's pretty risky, I'd say, but it's all they have, so I understand. But King is legit overvalued.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a counter-attack send here from Johnny C and Top Lamajanisi, but they've just given away so much gold with that Wave 8 leak that Widdowson and Kingdowns have a lot of resources to be able to hold with here.
Yeah, King was thinking about pre-building a Firelord, but I think this is the smarter choice considering you have an Orchid already.
Yeah. Interesting to see whether he hardens or boosts his Orchids now. And Widdowson, meanwhile...
Widdowson is a lot worse here. He only has the 2 flowers and a bunch of AoE, which the Small Hermit is going to counter. So the Disciple will help him, but...
and he snipes the Brute instantly. That helps as well. But Widdowson, despite being 20 over value, so much of his value is dead here. And 2 small flowers is just not close to, say, a death cap on 9, right? The Mole and the Hermit just making them do barely 0 damage. Kingdowns, he's leaking as well. 71% for the King, 85 for Widdowson, plus a 25 gold shutdown to boot. This is going to more than make up for the King damage they took on Wave 8.
Yeah, I think King didn't boost. I think he thought he was just chilling on value, or maybe he didn't have the gold. I didn't see for sure, but yeah, leaking on value and leaking over value is not very good. And especially since Widdowson was on shutdown for some reason, which ended up working out very well. It's definitely given them a chance back into this game. I wouldn't say they're ahead or anything, but King damage is very important to play the game in the mid game so that you can actually kill your opponents in one set.
Yeah, like I think that evened up the game. They were really in trouble after Wave 8, and now things are looking a bit more level. The one big difference for me is that Kingdowns and Widdowson have a ton of Mythium stored up. Well over 200 Mythium for both of them.
He didn't even harden last, I just realized. Because I don't think he hardened or boost because he was on value.
Yeah, I mean, he would have held if he hardened, right? But I guess it's a tough decision to make.
I mean, Widdowson looked horrible on 10 as well, is the problem.
Yeah.
So I guess he felt like he needed to hold both of them. But this income gives them options. I mean, they have the Mythium. Sending here is perfectly reasonable. They have almost 300 each.
Yeah, Widdowson does leak the resend as well, but it's just a pro leak and thankfully not on shutdown this wave.
Yeah, I mean, sending here, going 13, I feel like both are semi-reasonable.
Oh, they're saving Offma. Holy.
Has no counter.
Mythium saving. Wait. Okay, that was a Lizard Army. I thought I saw like a post-income send come out, but it was the Lizard Army.
Yeah, I mean, Lizard Army 13 is the reasonable way to close out the game when you see like these units. Like, Tupla needs to reroll probably about now, and try and click on Phoenix in his reroll. Yeah,
that would be ideal. They both have Pawn Shop, so we'll have to see if Yoni C has some nice luck to roll a good anti-13 unit between now and then.
You can Pawn Shop this bad boy on 13 for some extra gold.
Oh, free gold!
Yeah, literally a printing machine. But, yeah, Pawn Shop is nice. You can start dumping some of these units that are like less good on 13. And like roll, like Phoenix Tempest on 12 so that you can pre-build it and maybe hold 13 now.
I am kind of surprised that Top Lamajanisi has not yet pressed the reroll button. Like you say, he kind of has to start fishing for something to hold wave 13.
What the?
12?
Weird. Okay.
Okay.
Our bad.
I mean, maybe if the casters can't see it, the opponents can't see it either.
Yeah, they might do something silly like build a Firelord here.
Yeah, they might do something silly like build a Firelord here. And Tupler Maginisi might do something like shift all of his gold here.
Or get stuck re-rolling and not build.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh! Oh, he can build the gate. That's actually very nice for him. He has
Yeah,
something
that's
that he
really
can build
nice.
here, but he is getting a bit of a send. The send's not that good versus imps or versus gates, but he is gonna get a second set of imps, I think. Oh no, just the dino, but it's like 500 cent, 400 something cents, so I mean
Wow,
Johnny
600 for Johnny, 540 for Tupler Maginisi. These are mammoth sends off me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Johnny has a chance because there's no upgraded units, but Johnny is not horrible. Didn't get a Trinity though.
Yeah, and his Kingpin's getting overrun. Johnny's getting overrun. These are going to be some big leaks. 97 there for Johnny. Let's quickly zoom into Tupler's lane. He's doing better than 97, but he's not holding. That's a 69 for him, and Shutdown as well, 25 gold. The Shutdown's just changing hands left and right here.
Yeah, they just weren't ready at all for a 12, which I mean, we weren't ready for it either. It's a pretty interesting angle that I did not expect. But yeah, it pays off. It keeps them less starved, and they get a lot of king damage.
They get a lot of king damage, but they don't win the game here on 12. And meanwhile, now the shoe's kind of on the other foot now, right, Offma? Because Johnny and Tupler, they now have 400 Mythium for Tupler, 320 for Johnny, and they can kind of pick and choose when they want to send that against King and Widdowson.
They're just going 15 because they didn't push a worker. I mean, they're playing overvalue.
Yeah?
Yeah, it kind of feels like 15. I mean, Jules thinks they're Giga ahead. I'm not going to say that they're Giga ahead, but they do have a lead just because of the Mythium that they have, like you mentioned. And we might be just looking at a 15 race.
I think it has to come down to a 15 race, right? And here's the other thing. The downside of the Lizard Army is that Kingdowns is just giving Johnny C a bonus 36 gold for fun here on wave 13.
He'll take that.
He'll take that.
Okay,
go 14?
It just didn't push any workers, but still go 14? Okay.
All right.
I guess they were worried maybe about a Lizard Army 13 re?
I mean,
they're both... I mean, we're overvalued here, right? Like, surely we could have just...
pushed a couple of workies?
Yeah, pushed, saved.
Kingdown sniffs it.
Yeah, I mean, they are undervalued. Like, it's not like the send is not going to work, but...
it needs to work enough to do 57% King HP, right? Which might be a tall ask. Oh, Kingdowns has... Oh, he's unhardening! He's unhardening last second. He's changing his mind. Oh, never mind. Yeah. King's just messing with us here, Offma.
I mean, no mole onto King with double APS Archer. This is... I mean, the 4 Eyes is not going on the Phoenix. Sorry.
Yeah.
Eat my words real quick.
Okay, yeah. So that it's Phoenix... Oh, in fact, the Phoenix is going on the 4 Eyes. Never mind the 4 Eyes on the Phoenix. Yeah. Uh-oh. How?
I mean, it's the mask split that King did with the Zamba. I mean, this is just perfect positioning from King.
Easy holding from King. And Widdowson... I mean, Widdowson's just holding as well. Okay, well, GG. So Abrasiet take game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that they could do to lose the game is send here, which they don't do. And I think it will just be 16. I mean, don't get me wrong, Johnny can hold 16. He has some pretty good units, but he's going to be, like, pretty undervalued there. And they are sending incomplete... Oh, what? It's Tupla's pawn shop
suiciding.
For here? Or, like why did they send income then?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening, Offma. I'm scared.
Yeah, they are. What?
Okay. So the suicide push to send a couple more DTs on wave 15 into Kingdowns. I think they probably have rightly recognised that they're in a desperate situation and they just need to try something. And, I mean, King's Phoenix is down. Widdowson, meanwhile... Wow, Widdowson's just holding. Yeah. Widdowson's just holding. The desperate play... I mean, I kind of like that they went for it, but in this case, it's just not going to be enough, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it was bold for sure. I guess they don't think they can win 16 race against Flowers, which is fair.
Yep. And meanwhile,
Tupler is leaking. They need to double Sui, though.
Yeah, they probably did need to double Siri, yeah, and just go for it. I mean, they are getting
Well,
King
they're
damage
gonna
here,
send
but
again, yeah.
it's just not enough. They are sending it as well, but King and Widdowson are pulling the trigger from their send as well. They're going to have a lot more to send, and of course, they're going to have a lot more value as well. So I think this race only goes one way.
Unfortunately, I think that it will be the case. Unless Fiesta God Johnny C now doing Chaos God action. He has rolled nothing but Deep Coilers as his best Swift tank here, so
Unlucky.
it's not looking good. I would think maybe the Howlers are decent tank value, but opting for the Coilers maybe just wants to counter any range sense. But he's built quite high up, so I don't know if that will work.
Yeah.
Tupelo Copium building some value.
Yeah, I don't think he's holding a
I think he is.
940 send just with a couple of Trinity Archers.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just have a quick look at these two lanes. So we see Tupler, of course, getting overrun very quickly, but that's to be expected after the full push. And his teammate, Yoni C, he's not far behind. That's a 120% leak there for Johnny, and that is game number 1 going in favour of Team Abrasier. Well played, guys.
Yeah. Pretty insane holds from both of them on 14. I mean, they were like 300 value, under value, so definitely nice by them. I will say, I think the Send versus King is wrong. I'm not sure if he would leak anyways, but I don't think when you see someone already anti-double 4-eyes on 13, you should probably just send Ogres, which are a lot stronger versus the Mudman, his only tank, and then make sure to send Bull to counter his only damage, which is the Archers. Well, his main damage, I should say. The Phoenix still does damage, but I think that would be a stronger send. Not sure it matters if Witterson holds anyways. I think the correct decision was just to go 15 anyways.
Yeah, for sure. I think 15 was their best play by miles, and it would have forced Kingdans and Widdowson to send there as well, where Tupler and Johnny are both pretty strong. So like you say, yeah, I think they kind of misstepped there by going on 14. Maybe that's the tournament inexperience showing, or maybe it's just, maybe they thought they had a solid chance there on 14. But yeah, Kingdans and Widdowson showing us what they're made of here with two very, very solid holds against the big sends there on wave 14, and that ultimately wins them the game, so well played.
Yeah, honestly, like, getting that 12 send can kind of mess with you. Like, it can throw off your, like, sense feel for the game and how it's going.
Yeah.
And, like, what your read on, like, everyone's workers. Like, maybe they thought that King and Witter were, like, super push for that 12 send and thought, like, you know, if we skip 14, we're actually going to die.
Yeah, maybe.
And just have the wrong read there. But it's definitely, they're definitely getting maybe just some slight mistakes in tournament. It definitely happens to everybody. But I mean, King with that Harden there was very nice. Like, he thought I was thinking twice about it too, so he did end up making the correct read to get them that win.
Yeah, for sure. But I think even without the Harden, I don't think it changes the game, because Widdowson full holds regardless, and even if Kingdans leaks without the Harden, like, it's not going to be a massive leak. It'll make a difference, sure, but not like a game-changing difference, I think. And yeah, it's just really, really hard to call. I think the guys should have gone 15. They'll probably be kicking themselves for that one. We'll have to see if they can kind of collect themselves and get back into it for game number 2. So it is 1-0 now in favour of Abrasiet, and they're on match point now, Offmer.
Yeah, it's fast in the best of 30s for sure, but just so everyone knows, it's not a elimination match. Both these, if people lose here, they still get to go in the lowers and fight it out in the groups. So definitely not the end of the world to lose the first series. We've seen King and Witter climb out from that hole, and we definitely could expect Johnny C and Tuplama to do the same if put in that spot. So there's not too much pressure on this game.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it still has to weigh on your mind, right? Like, you've come through what feels like a pretty, for me, that would feel like a bad defeat, right? Like, you know that you're ahead. You've got to know they're ahead when they have, like, survived the wave 12 send. Sure, they took some damage, but they have so much Mythium stored up, and then to just kind of jump the gun one wave too early and lose the game like that is gonna hurt. So hopefully Tupler and Yoni, you guys can just keep calm, just carry on.
One longer
And,
One more wave.
yeah, and man, like Toppler and Yoni, they love to save one wave longer. It's their favourite thing. But guys, enough, because game number 2 is here, and there's a double Fiesta pickup.
Fiesta, and Witterson has the right reads.
Oh, Offma, this is exactly what you were talking about before the game went live. The Fiesta into the Fiesta. So that's giving Witterson an advantage now, right?
It's pretty rough to play Fiesta because you can't push as hard because the guy sending to you is like has no restrictions on how hard he can push, and it's like, well, like I mean, King Dan's going for the optimal opening here.
That is just a beautiful opening there from King Dan's. The smiley mask face. I mean, this is really clearly showing why he's at the top of the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's even plus value to cover his Fiesta teammate. Solid on
Just
wave 2 as
amazing.
well with the Pierce Swift.
All right. Meanwhile, Witterson, he has a very good Fiesta opener there with that Consort, one of the best. And Johnny C. So he actually had Atoms here and chose to roll them away in favour of the Treant opener. Now, I've seen him do this quite a lot, actually, with Fiesta. So what he does, he'll always push the 6th worker. The opponent maybe doesn't think he's Fiesta because he's playing a safe opener. He'll add a single tier 1 in the split for wave 2, and he'll just hope to get some kind of aggressive early plays going on.
Everyone's saving besides Johnny. And King also going for that tree opener. And finding some very nice units for wave 2, I must say. That is some nice luck. But
Nice luck, King.
yeah, like you mentioned, he's going 6 workers to try. I would have thought he wanted the bazooka opener, because I've seen a couple from like Aviator and from Kid K. Like, this opener is just insane with Fiesta.
Yeah.
Bazooka's just, one, it's just so much single target, and 2, it's like very, very nice threshold on the first few waves, and it's very tanky as well. And then you can transition pretty easily into Zeus, which also is a great single target, which is what Fiesta wants. But the tree is also very solid, and he even stays 5 workers here because he got saved on. So hoping to Pro League 2 this DT. And Witterson also staying 5 workers because he got saved on. Having to opt for what I would imagine is 2 Gargs so that he can pre-build for 3 and push really hard after the send.
Yeah. 2 Gogs is really, really good, actually, for the Consort Fiesta, because, like you say, he's just a god now on 3. But let's have a look. We've got the 40 send here into Johnny's Fiesta. The Ranger dies very quickly. In fact, he didn't add any polys. I thought he would do a bit of a kite there. So, as a result, that's quite a big leak. 67% for him. Witterson, meanwhile, how are you doing against the double snail? 67 as well, but of course the Consort kills one with the Death Rattle. The problem is, Waldo over here, King Dan's in lane number 1, forgot the cardinal rule, cover for your Fiesta teammate, and he's going for a bit of a leak himself. Only 1 creep, but it's not ideal.
Yeah, he built 2 anglers, and I'm gonna guess that the first one did what anglers do and ran it down. And the second one I would assume didn't split tank at all.
Yeah, it looked like that was the case, yeah.
It's a little rough, but, really barely any King damage. And the only person not on 6 workers now is King, but obviously he has those double anglers that he needs to protect.
Oh, Johnny C's receiving a 60 send. Oh, King Dan's nice lucks the Seraphim here on 3. One of the best possible units on the wave.
Yeah. And he is getting that full 60, so the Seraphim won't be hitting that DT for a while.
Mm-hmm. Okay, third creep.
Okay. Well,
does kill it though. I think he's going to be okay. Witterson though, he looks. Oh, that was a Consort still alive. I thought he just had 3 gargoyles.
Yeah.
So he's actually doing okay. Johnny leaks 58% to his 60 send. Toppler holds his lane. And Witterson, can he kill this DT? He cannot. That's a 63% leak for him. And King Dan's, he does hold his own lane just barely. Won't be able to cover very much in the mid.
Yep. So some more King damage and a slight worker lead. Not sure like how great the spot is, but doesn't seem bad yet. Even with all this early game.
Mm-hmm. All right, and this is a really, really income-heavy early game. We've got Johnny C on 8 workers now. He's sending again here on wave 4, probably not expecting to get a leak out of King Downs, but just making his income number go up.
Yeah, and he has rolled Angler the last 3 waves. It's actually insane. This unit is just in love with him.
All right, so
And King is overbuilt here, so I think he'll be fine.
He's completely fine.
But he now has the Pack Rat, which lets pretty flexible with Chaos, right? You know, if you want to build a cool unit, you hunt your Rat, and if you want to push some workers, maybe you can leave your Rat up. And now everyone has some decent Mythium, getting to that 100th breakpoint on 5, which can be pretty dangerous with that Cannoneer. Or maybe
and
just
there it is. Yeah. Speak of the devil, the Cannoneer comes out from King Downs. Toplamajanisi, how are you going to do against that? He does have a Pilgrim, one of the better units on wave 5.
Has a Mudman too if he wants it, which is probably the 2 best units on 5 in the game. So
okay, so top lane is going to be very, very fine then, I think is our answer here.
The Pilgrim can also help out the Maiden to maybe stay alive. I don't know, with no split, probably not. But the heal can sometimes keep it alive from just the boss's damage.
Oh, yeah. But this does mean the Pilgrim is not tanking anything, though.
Yeah.
So not using his own HP as a resource whatsoever. But having said that, it looks decent. Will he get one more cast? He will. The casket stays alive a little bit longer.
Oh, no.
But I think he's going to leak the Cannoneer, right? I don't think the Pilgrim wins this 1v1.
He's trying.
No, but the Ashton is too strong here. That's a 28% leak on wave 5. But, having said that, I think that's pretty fine for Toppler.
Yeah. That's reasonable. He's saving a bajillion Mythium, as usual. Maybe trying to click the big yellow guy on 7, or just the Mimic.
Oh yeah, I think big yellow guy looks pretty good against Widdowson on wave 7. But like you say, GK on 8 looks even better.
Both Fiesta players are getting starved, but one of them pushed to no send and is now 9 workers.
What a beast.
I mean, he's gonna leak the next send, but if it's on 8, he's gonna be profiting from 9 workers the whole time. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is, Widdowson also has 180 Mythium, so he too can threaten the big yellow guy on wave 7 if he so chooses.
King is kind of chilling, just sending a little income here again. Looks like 2+1. He clicked the +20 option too.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Mimic versus Johnny, which is fair enough. He has only Swift Arcane.
Oh,
besides the tree.
Toplamajanisi, he is doing the dirty here. He does skip wave 7. He's got 200 plus Mythium in the bank. Widdowson, how are you dealing with a Ghost Knight or even more on wave 8?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a long wave because Johnny is probably going to leak. He has Zeus for single target, but the Iron Maiden, it's looking like it's just going to die to the Mimic before it can kill the whole wave.
It should cast at least once, though, right?
Yeah. It's usually good for 1.
It's going to get some value out.
The second cast, I think.
There we go. But yeah, you're right. It's just getting run down way too quickly there by the Mimic, so not really getting nearly enough value out. And Johnny C is going to leak decently as a result. Let's get a quick check-up on this Mimic gold. That's 12 gold there for Widdowson. Gold that he desperately needs, by the way, because he's getting starved by a tryhard, and that is a Centaur from Toplamajanisi on wave 8.
I mean, it is his profile picture.
Oh, and meanwhile, Waldo over here, again in lane number 1, King Downs, just desperate, it seems, to undercut his own teammate with these super long waves.
He's just trying to feed him the Drake gold. He knows he needs it.
Oh, speaking of feeding gold, this Mimic is just snacking on all of Toplamajanisi's units in the mid.
Gonna send Ram for fun at this point.
Yeah. I mean, he can also just add a Brute to his Centaur send. That's 320 going into Widdowson's lane here on wave 8.
I think Tufla maybe just push for fun, considering he's not tantrumed here. But we'll see if King actually tries to punish it or not. He's only going for a Dino right now. And what will Widdowson build? Because he has Bunk if he wants it.
Yeah, I mean, Bunk seems like he kind of has to do it. Although that may well pull both of the melee power mercenaries onto itself.
Yeah, this is
Because
gonna
he
be
can't afford a
pretty
split.
much. Yeah, pretty much a no split situation, which is pretty
Ooh.
good for the Centaur.
Yeah, the
Keep it quick to
Centaur's...
mercenary
Oh!
damage.
Centaur is getting sniped. I suppose that's always going to be the case. And
Yeah, it's a pretty beefy guy though.
yeah, will the Harbinger summon? He will not! Oh no! That's really big. Widdowson, 100%. That is a home run for the boy. Topler Maginesi, he leaks as well, 58% against the income, but he's really pressured Widdowson here. And meanwhile, Topler's on 16 workers compared to the 9 for Mr. Widdowson.
Yeah, his situation's a bit better than for Witterson. Thought he could get a nice Fiesta game going, sending into Johnny, but unfortunately he got starved by a tryhard.
Yeah, Topler really showing us his trademark style in this game number 2.
And King going for a Hermit resend here.
Okay, I mean, I can see it. I can definitely see it against Topler's Wave 8 board being very, very weak against Hermit. He does have a gate.
Versus Hermit.
It's pretty good versus Hermit, but the rest of his units are kind of garbage, right? So, I don't know. Could go either way.
Tupla and Johnny just, I mean, they're super high workers. They just push the income now. Try and scale up a bit. They got the king damage they needed early game and got a worker lead as well. Witterson kind of forced to starve now since he's a bit behind.
Yeah. And Widdowson, like, he's just been taken out of the game, really, by Topler. So he probably is going to be forced to just suicide push at some point in this game. But we'll have to see how it develops. Oh, one more Pilgrim heal. Yeah, it looks like a hold to me.
Yeah. The Tantrum Mass just doing insane amount of damage here.
Yeah, that's really nice.
The same as the Soul Gate.
And they did go for the Income King play as well on the side of Mayo in the hole. So they're just comfortably ahead now in terms of income, in terms of workers, in terms of everything economic, really. The one plus side is that Topler is, of course, playing Cartel. So he's about to get that minus 36 income penalty. But even after that, he's going to be leagues ahead of Widdowson there.
Yeah, I gotta say, the one thing is King has managed to secure a pretty good game for himself. Kind of just eating up those income sends from Johnny and trying to power spike with his double Kingpin.
Yep.
He's put himself in a pretty good spot, and Chaos is always strong late game. Especially with Hero, which is going to get very good value. It's going to be Hero on a Doppel and 2 Kingpin. And I think there is definitely still some options here. They obviously don't have any King damage, which hurts in terms of the mid game, but they'll find a way, I'm sure.
And speaking of which, Topler is leaking to no send here, so that helps. That's a bit more gold in the pockets of Kingdans and Widdowson, a little bit less for Topler, but I mean his build was just very, very weak on 10. That's kind of to be expected.
Yeah, he has basically a whole board of dead value there. And it's going to be tryhard sends here and skips from Tupla and Johnny when they're minus 400.
Yeah,
pretty
that's
bold, I would say. I mean, they're not horrible here, but they're not looking amazing. Like,
yeah.
without the DK.
Now, will that be a hero pickup for Johnny C? It will be, of course. So we have the hero DK.
Besides Twitter.
Now, the DK does have the Tree of Life buff as well, so it's got some heal, but I think that's just really low value buff on an unupgraded Shadow Dancer. Because it's a max percent HP heal, right? And it just doesn't have very much max HP, so...
I think I would honestly rather see him just punch up something for the big guy.
Yeah.
Try and let him cook this wave. Obviously, he would be even more undervalued then, but this is a 400 send that they saved into, so...
Yeah, and Topler is on 1500 value here. I don't see him holding very well at all. This is going to be a major leak for him. Let's see, is Johnny C doing any better? He is doing better, but that's also not a hold off me.
Yeah, I mean, they saved with the plan to probably eat this send and then try and kill the enemies, but they are donating quite a bit of gold.
Yeah, they're giving away a ton of gold here. That's 97 on Johnny, 90 on Topler. They do have full King HP, and they do now have by far the Mythium advantage, but the problem is they're giving a lot of gold away here.
Yeah, I mean, if King and Witter can't hold them the what would probably be a 13 send, then it's fine. They won the game that way, but it's pretty risky considering King is Chaos and it's going to be overvalued on 13.
Yeah, he just needs to nice luck something right for the wave,
Yes, the
such
Avenger.
as Avenger, for example.
Yeah, no pawn shop, so he can't just sell this guy and
Yeah,
get the
that's a
trail
shame.
ice off. But
That is a
you
shame,
can't have
actually.
everything.
You would love to see like a game-winning Wave 13 pawn shop of the Kingpin farms.
Looks like he's committed to the Kingpin farm.
Uh,
I
I
will say being overvalued with double Kingpin on 13 is usually a trap.
Yeah, I also think this is a big mistake to update the Bounty Hunter here.
Yeah,
That's 125 gold into a dead unit for next wave.
he did not build. I wonder.
Oh.
I mean, they'll see this. He
Yeah.
sold something even. He sold
Okay.
the mask, I think. So yeah, I think we should send guys.
Yeah, we should probably send, yeah. But Kingdans and Widdowson, assuming they do send, it's still not guaranteed that they're going to lose a race there because Toppler and Johnny C, they'll be sending a lot more Mythium, but they have so little value as well.
Yeah, Johnny has a chance to delay forever. I mean, this guy can buy a lot of time.
Yeah?
King is gonna be overvalued, like we said, but when you're overvalued with these guys on 13, it can be a little deceiving, to say
Yeah.
the least.
He did roll the Arc Tear here for Wave 13, which is pretty perfect in terms of delaying
bad,
the
yeah.
wave. But the Four Eyes is good against that as well. So I don't know. I mean,
Relying.
King is on 3,100 value on Wave 13 off my like.
Yeah,
It's kind of nuts.
I mean, as bad as we say the Kingpins are, if they're tanking for the Doppel, then they aren't so bad.
Yeah,
I just can't. Hold on, I can't select his Doppel.
Ogre
Let's
is
see
getting
if it's dying.
sniped. That dies instantly. The Pack goes next.
is
The Mole
dead.
goes next. Widdowson,
One
I
of his
mean,
Kingpins is
he is
perfect
leaking
tanking.
pretty badly. Let's have a quick look over. So Toppler obviously is leaking everything. Oh, but so is Johnny C. They're just going to lose the race off me while Kingdans holds. Okay.
Okay, we flamed him for building a bounty, but I guess he just knew that it was
Yeah.
insulting anyways.
Apparently when you have 3,000 value on Wave 13, it doesn't matter what value that is made out of.
Yeah, really nice aggro from him too. That first Kingpin actually like perfect tanking on the left, surviving forever, life stealing off those drill golems. So, I mean, yeah, a pretty nice game.
Yeah, that was... I mean, we kind of said that we wanted to see the 3-game series, but Kingdans and Widdowson, it seems Abrasiat is back, baby. These guys taking no prisoners here in the first series, just demolishing the competition. They were playing very, very solid Legion here.
I think that 11 skip was a bit of a mistake. Obviously, in retrospect, it
Yeah.
definitely looks like a mistake, but I think they're maybe worried about when they can leak King, but I think you want to just keep scaling when you have 2 people in the game and they only have 1.
Yeah.
Because you'll always be able to have the suicide advantage then.
Yeah, but even if you're just sending to stay in the game, right, because they just lost so much on Wave 11. They went down from 100% nearly to 21, and they just were giving, I don't know, what, 200 gold to both Kingdans and Widdowson with that leak?
Yeah, and then they just took so much King damage. They have no King ups. I mean, I like just income King on 11, and then you're probably, I mean, you're definitely ahead of Witter. You're not ahead of King, but I think it's winnable on 15 race then. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, King can always roll something, don't get me wrong, but I think it would put them in a better spot to scale out and play the rest of the game.
Yeah, maybe they weren't expecting to leak quite so badly there on Wave 11. And Johnny C, I mean, his build was actually quite good on Wave 11. It's just that he received 440 Mythium from Widdowson. Maybe not expecting he could get that much when Widdowson had been bullied the entire game by Toppler. And if you look at the graph, actually, Mayo in the hole were ahead pretty much the entire early game. They had a pretty sizable lead, actually. Jules giving them a 60% win chance on Wave 11, but of course that then goes right the opposite direction when they take so much damage that Kingdans and Widdowson are just pulling away with the game at that stage.
Yeah. I mean, the counterattack choice by Widdowson is definitely correct. Just like realizing like they need King damage on 11. And, you know, it's like sacrificing himself because he got taken out.
Yep.
Doing the right team play there, and mattered somewhat. I mean, like the extra Mythium always helps when you're lower workers and need to get something in the game because the hero's not going to help them at all.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just so hard to leak Kingdoms when he has such a crazy, like, economic lead, right? You just see 3,000 value on wave 13 is kind of unheard of, but...
Yeah.
Okay, Offma, I do see that the second game in our bracket is still ongoing, so we can hop in to see what's going on with Burnt Das Brot and Green Spirit, and we will find
It's
out.
the shortest name. X got 37.
Oh, they're playing against X Crash.
Yeah, it's a rematch of the finals in the first round.
This is pretty cool, guys. So, for those of you who weren't with us last month, first off, shame on you. But second off, these were the two finalist teams last month. Ultimately, X Crash came out on top. Let's see if anything goes differently in this game. This is game number 2 currently in the group stage. So let's have a look.
Yeah, I see an egg on God Spirit's board on 11. Would assume everyone just got... I see 2 eggs on the ground as well, actually. Apparently, Green Spirit is saying that they're up 1-0.
Okay.
X got and Ashen went for a loan here, presumably so that Ashen could build this Eggy. Gonna hurt their income a bit. I see X God is chilling on 120 with the cartel.
Oh, that's
debuff.
rough. And speaking of Eggies, Green Spirit has one of his very own over there in lane number 4.
Everyone's saving.
Oh, Green Spirit and Burnt are going to feel very good about themselves if they manage to 2-0 X Crash, because this was the team that won the grand final against them last month, so they're going to feel a little bit vindicated if they manage to come out ahead here. Ashton?
Another
Ashton?
one.
Ashton?
He's cooking.
Is he for real?
I mean, he's on recommended value if you get rid of all the eggs.
Is he?
Yeah, he's minus... Oh, he's probably a little under.
Yeah.
Oh, this egg will tank, though.
This egg will tank.
Because it has the chieftain buff. Well, is it gonna?
It's not gonna live, which he probably would have liked if it could.
Yeah, I think the 2-stack egg is a bit better than the 1-stack.
Yeah. A 1-stack egg and 2 unhatched eggs. But Burnt and Green, they're not falling for the bait here. They won't send on wave 13. And if you look at X-God's lane, you can see why. He has the Ocean Templar, Hellgate and Soulgate combo. He's very, very strong here indeed. But Ashton getting away with murder. He's going to have 2 fully stacked eggs popping up next wave. It's just a shame that this Hydra did end up popping there in wave 12.
Yeah, it's... I mean... The downside of building this many eggs is telling the opponents you have no workers. So Green is probably like feeling pretty comfy, just chilling here.
I think Green has pushed a couple to no send as well, maybe when he saw those eggs. He's on 21 workers now, so that's good presence of mind there from Green Spirit to go for that play.
Hopefully X-God realizes he's going to kill all his gates on 14 after this wave.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the Fire Archer in the split.
14. Yeah. And it is going to be 14 cents from them, going into the double hatched egg, so Ashen will be overvalue.
Okay.
His value will be some natural impact.
I mean, the Hydras do provide a lot of added bonus value there when they hatch, especially with no stacks. But there's still natural units on wave 14, right? So we'll have to see.
I mean, he's going to save his coilers this way. I just worry that if he kills his gates, then the coilers aren't going to be doing that much.
Yeah. Ogres into Ashton, though? Do you like the ogres into those big natural tanks? Or would you have gone for something like witches, do you think?
I feel like it might be for fun to send witch on 14, but like I can't really imagine that sending ogres is that much better when legit like 1k of his value is natural.
Yeah. The gates are not killed. X-God did sell that Fire Archer there, but I think he's still going to leak.
Sacrificed his coilers.
Did sacrifice his coilers. He's still leaking massively, actually. That's 143% there for X-God. Ashton, though, he is holding. Is this ever enough to keep X-Crash in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty sizable leak. They could honestly die. They are dead, right? They don't have any king-ups?
They have no king-ups. He did kill a few units. He did kill one of the ogres, crucially. I think they're just
Yeah, they're
barely
killing.
going to survive, and now they have a ton of Mythium stored up. The problem is Green and Burnt, they still have 100% King HP.
Yeah, killing someone from 100 is pretty tricky in this game, and especially if you're not going to send 15 because of the Azuria. I wonder
Yep.
if Green and Julian are feeling a little unsafe and want to do King attack here, but it looks like they're fine so far with just the 16 match.
Ashton's actually on fire now after that wave 14 hold as well, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of gold he just got, and he's trilling over value. I mean, yeah, I don't blame Julian for sending ogres. I don't think I could ever have it in me to send witches on 14.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe imps were fine there, like because they're somewhat tanky as well.
They do
Ah,
go for the attack upgrade.
he was overvalue. We'll just say it was the value.
Yeah.
We'll forgive Julian.
I wonder when XGod and Ashton decide to go, because they can't really afford to save much longer. XGod is so far undervalued, he
16
only
is
has
fine.
120, and yeah, they do go for a wave 16 send. The thing is, if Burnt and
he's
Green...
gonna do the.
Oh!
He did the thing.
He did the thing! Offmer! It's the Shaman
Jover.
Centaur! Tell me about Shaman Centaur, Offmer.
I mean, you have the centaur, which does a lot of damage, and then you give it the shaman buff on wave 16, and it just cuts down those melee units.
Wow.
I mean, it's maybe not always the best, because one of them might be Bing chilling on these mudmen, but even hitting fortify tanks, I think Centaur, if it's cleaving max targets, still the highest DPS merc in the game, and with Shaman buff, it's even higher. And then you have the backup Centaur, just in case the first one has... Oh! Asham decided to go for it too. I mean, versus
Oh.
Green's build, I think it's really good. Centaur's already super efficient, and
Yeah, and everything in Green's Lane is clumped up into one big cleavable mass.
hopefully it doesn't buff the ram.
Oh.
But I think the ram will die pretty fast anyways.
Yeah. The ram is in fact already dead. That Centaur is
Centaur is
cleaving.
just-
That's going to be a bit of a leak there for Mr. Green Spirit, I think. Burnt, how are you doing? Not terribly, but it will be a leak. XGod, that's going to be a leak as well. Ashton, again, with a clutch hold. Burnt and Green, they do go for big leaks here. 139 on Burnt, 108 on Green, 106 on XGod. But I think these guys are going to survive. They did do some spell upgrades there last second.
Yep, pretty reasonable to go for a full send in case of a skip, but then, cover their bases and make sure they don't die.
Ashton,
Wait.
is he full covering? I think he is.
Yeah.
And Green and Burnt, they just barely survive. Just barely, though. 11% on their king. And Ashton, can anything stop this man?
Well, no one pushed any workers besides Ashton.
Standard.
So I think we're gonna see wave. We might see wave. Nah, it kind of has to be 18. I just took a look at everyone's values.
Yeah, everyone is...
Yeah. Ashton might just hold 18. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, Ashton's way over value already. If you count his gold, he's something like 400 overvalued.
What? I mean, Julian is kind of cracked on 18. Don't get me wrong, but it's a
Green's
very
making an
risky
egg.
play.
Okay, Green. Wait, he's making 2 eggs. Green?
What?
Green? Hello?
Is he gonna start pushing or something?
Well,
I'm not sure the.
Ashton's pinging them.
Dude, what kind of read is this? Is some Dex level read. I would have been so scared that XGod is just pushing here.
Yeah. And Green is just saying, come at me, bro. I dare you to send.
Yeah, he's just I don't think you guys have any workers.
And he's actually right. Oh, but Burnt? Is he just leaking the no-send? I think this is too much of a bait. I think if Burnt leaks no-send and Green has
it's
2
okay.
eggs placed, then they have to send. But I mean, Burnt will hold, but just barely against the no-send. And they don't send! Nobody sends!
Green is legit minus 1k here, by the way.
Absolutely insane. This is just a mind-boggling game here. I can't believe this.
Yeah, and he just hardens because Green surely covers 19 with 2 hatched eggies, right?
Yeah, now Green is spending nearly 100 gold there, boosting his orchids. That's gold he won't see again. Julian, of
Minus
course,
90?
hardening as well. Oh,
What? Going on this game?
yeah.
I mean, does Julian just start pushing now? after this no send?
I
Like
mean,
he
he
needs
has
to leak
to.
Ashton fast.
I think he has to, yeah. I think this is probably their call. I'll harden here, I'll full push if they don't send.
See if he spends that gold on Marquis. Yeah, he is.
He is. He's
I
pushing.
mean, this is a pretty sick line from Green and Julian that I would not have expected. So
Yeah.
respect to them.
I mean, Ashton
Okay.
had 3 eggs, so Green has to have 3 eggs, right? That's how this works?
Yeah, it's all fair is fair.
Now,
And
X-God is as well doing
struggling.
okay here. Only 18 workers on X. He's going to be... Yeah, I mean, still not going to
Sui is
hold,
not
right?
really a Sui.
Yeah.
He now has reached Ashton's workers.
Yeah, yeah.
And his send is going to be much smaller than Ashton's anyways. But, I mean, Ashton isn't the best here. He's solid.
I think
But,
his chieftain is buffing an APS as well.
I think he...
now,
Ashton?
now his chieftain's buffing a ranger.
And a
I'm
ranger.
not sure that this is optimal positioning, Mr. Butcher.
Oh, God! Tell me that's not how he messes this up.
Oh, I mean,
Bro?
I feel like the ostrich is being overused, but Ashton buffing a ranger here on wave 19, that's an ostrich.
Oh.
That's a yikes. I mean, that's an 8,000 HP Swift Ranger not tanking any damage. He gets a 920 send. X-God gets 1,000 send.
Julian
Burnt
is
is spam pinging the Ranger, as is his right here. Burnt leaks 112%. Green is doing phenomenally well, but I don't think he's going to hold. Is it enough to win the race? Ashton's Ranger does somehow die there. And I think they've won here. I think this is a 2-0 for Team 10%.
Yeah, they only needed 14% of their king, it seems.
Wow! What a play!
Ashton's definitely holding the longest if he just buffs his Haven.
What a play, dude. That is a 2-0 victory
no.
for 10%. Well played, guys. And Ashton buffing a Ranger there on wave 19 for the loss. Like, if that is a Haven, they just win, right? Almost certainly.
Yeah, it looked like he was almost holding longer than Green to begin with. And I think buffing Fortified that does damage based on HP, yeah.
And that's a lot of HP as well. He has 5 chieftains. 5. What is that? That's 7,500 HP?
Yeah, that hurts for sure.
I think 7,500 HP maybe would have been a little bit better on the Haven than on a Ranger here for wave 19. Ashton, a very uncharacteristic mistake there for Mr. Butcher, and it costs them dear because that is a 2-0 now for Burnt and Green. They do move through to the winners bracket now where they will face off against Team Abraceat. But X-God and Ashton, their tournament road is not yet over. They will have to move down to the losers bracket where they will play off against Team Mayo in the hole. So they do have one more chance to make it through to tomorrow's finals.
Yeah. That was very sick line from Green and Julian. I mean,
yeah, it was a sick
some
line.
Weaknesses, I must say.
It was a really sick line. It was a really smart play. But I still kind of have to give the MVP of that game to Ashton for buffing his Ranger and kind of giving the game away there. Ashton, I mean, he did it for the boys, you know? He did it for the boys. Okay, Offmer, these have been some pretty sick games. We are going to take a quick break here, I think, to give the players some time to recuperate. They're going to need it after a series like that. But Twitch chat, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in around 10 minutes. But before the break, just to keep you guys entertained, I actually have a very special treat for everyone. It's courtesy of Nictier. It's a very exclusive, first time ever played in the world. This song goes out to anyone who ever got flamed by their teammate without good cause. And this is Nick T with GG's That Was Me. Zhou Konyu is doing way too well here. Look at this. The Aziria is just killing everything. The Centaur will get through, but Zhou Konyu, what an insane hold. Wow! I mean, there's a reason this guy hit Legend. The Phoenix is just destroying the backline. Is she even holding? I think Lucy's just holding here.
Everything joins me in time.
X-God, I mean, he's got 2 Drakes out there with the MPS buff, with the Leviathan buff. That looks like a hold as well. Oh, Fiesta! Oh, 3 Fiesta picks! Everybody linking. What a Fiesta here on Wave 9. 61 for X-God, 71 for Lucy, 56 for Drakir. Look at the Kings, look at the Kings, look at the Kings! It's so close! It's so close! Oh! It's so close. Let's zoom out so we can see both sides at once. Oh, what? So close, but I think with 30% it's just not enough. And yes, X Crash are your July Nova Cup champions. Well played. No.
Build something. Oh, no.
It is a bounty. Okay. Hello there, Mr. Offmer. How the devil are you? Did you enjoy the absolute banging new track by Nick T?
Holy moly.
He's been cooking. He's been cooking. That was something special.
That was insane. He even added the the clip from my stream like 2 days ago.
I know. It's a fresh,
funny.
it's a fresh spicy meme.
I was like, wait, who is that talking to Penny?
It's me. That was me.
GG's, that was me.
And a really cool hype video from Shadow as well. I really like
Yeah, that was sick.
the smooth unit spinning camera transitions. It looks very, very cool. So great work to both of those content creators, Nick D and Shadow Wings, for providing some very, very nice extra production value to the Nova Cup. It's much appreciated. But Offma, we have a pretty cool matchup ahead of us now. This game, I mean, it's kind of like just hitting a dead horse now to say that these games could already be the grand final, because I think when you get to the stage where the entirety of Division 1 is 3k ELO teams, then pretty much every match that happens can be the grand final, right? But it's just kind of worth going again and reiterating that this really is very, very high level play indeed here. And this winners matchup now is going to be no exception. Both teams won 2-0 in their first round.
Yeah.
So now we move into round 2. 2 undefeated teams so far. They haven't dropped a single game yet this month. It is Abraseat, Kingdans and Widdowson facing off against Team 10%. That's Green Spirit and Burnt Das Broat. Now, we spoke a lot about Kingdans and Widdowson before their first game, but Offma, can you give me a bit of a rundown on Team 10%?
I mean, we have two pretty big beasts, I would say. We have Green Spirit and Julian. I mean, they've played this game forever, and they're always around. I mean, they've made like a bajillion Nova Cup finals between the two of them. Not necessarily always together. But, I mean, we saw this even last month. These two teams played in actually the semis, and Green and Julian came away with a insane win from behind against King and Winner in that last game.
Yeah.
Just that completely out of nowhere.
I remember that one, actually. That was crazy. They were so far behind. They had like a 5% chance to win, and they just went for this absolute Hail Mary play, full pushed, sent massive on 16, caught Kingdans and Widdowson off guard, and knocked them out of the tournament. So King and Widder, I mean, these guys are probably out for revenge this time around, after kind of getting humiliated last month. So we'll have to see. And I have to say as well, Kingdans and Widdowson, from what I saw in their first series, these guys are back to their old form. They've been playing a lot more lately than they had before the July Cup. They feel more like the Abraseat that we used to see. And I think these guys are going to come out swinging here already in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, they've added to their repertoire a bit with that Widderson Fiesta that we saw, even if it wasn't like winning because of it. I mean, he still won a game with it. So I think they definitely have some more stuff to mix in. And we'll have to see what Green and Julian are going to cook up in response.
Yeah. I mean, they certainly have the measure of each other. These guys have played each other a lot, both on the ladder and in tournaments. And I really can't call this one. Normally, when it comes to Nova Cup, I have a favourite one side or the other. But here, I mean, this is pretty much a dead even 50-50, I think, between the two teams. It's just way too close to call. Either way, it's going to be an absolutely incredible series, and I'm just excited to get the show on the road.
Yeah. I think everyone is ready.
Are we once again waiting for the players to find the start button?
Yeah, King is, taking his time.
King, he's a vindictive king,
Yeah.
We made him wait because we were doing some introductions, and now he's going to make us wait. Yeah.
Respectable.
Absolutely. So what kind of mastermind pickups are you expecting in game number 1, Offma?
Oh, I have to see the Legion spells, but I would imagine Green is like Cash Out or Cartel. Julian is, something a little more boring as well, like a Cartel maybe. I mean, he might pop the Fiesta.
I could see a burnt Fiesta. Yeah, I could see a burnt Fiesta. But guys, here we are, winners match, game number 1, Abraseat versus Team 10%. Let's go.
Yeah. The Legion spells are pretty boring, so yeah, not surprised at all to see King pick Chaos. Nothing aggressive usually means scaling time.
This one's interesting to me, though, because you've got Kingdans picking Chaos. I mean, sure, like you say, this is likely to go late game with 3 defensive spells. Oh, yeah, talk about the Fiesta
Forgive
for
me.
me.
Yeah,
Go.
I mean, Green is gonna cook, it seems, and he has a pretty consort is one of the best ones.
Yeah, it is, for sure. I was just saying about King, like, I can see him wanting to scale late game when there's only 3 defensive spells, but we had a pawn shop game earlier where he didn't pick it up, and
Yeah.
now he's picking it up with 3 kind of buffy spells, and well, 2 buffs and an economy spell. I'm a bit surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, he made great use out of the hero the other game, so I would imagine he just feels comfortable picking a good plan for one of these. I mean, Magician is very powerful. I mean, it keeps getting buffed, or I don't think it's been nerfed in the last few patches, only buffed, so it is very strong, especially if you can, with Chaos, you have access to so many different mana units.
Oh no, I
Ooh.
really
I
don't
hate
like
this,
this
but-
start. Yeah, I've seen a few streamers do this play lately where they place the buzz really far down, and the idea is that it either leaks 1 creep or it even gets the perfect leak where it leaks but kills it with the death rattle. The problem is I've also seen it backfire more times than not and just hold the wave. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, it shouldn't hold the wave, but, there's some RNG in this game. So
Yeah.
We see a double Zerker and a Nightmare Opener from Julian. Pretty slow starts. Saving into Zerker is usually just kind of whatever if they have any tier 1 they want to build.
I mean, this just looks like a
See?
hold to me, Offman, no?
The buzz is kind of beating down this last crab.
The one thing I'll say is that it does cause a very, very long wave, regardless of whether it fiestas or not. And
Yo,
he holds.
what a noob.
So yeah, this is
What
what I
a
mean.
noob.
Like, sure, it was a very, very long wave, but he did miss out on that spicy Fiesta gold.
Yeah, then he just sold the buzz to rebuild it. And he can't go 6. He's not going 6 workers either.
He can't go 6 workers. He will hold against the Snail Send from Kingdans. So Green Spirit playing Fiesta without Fiesta. Always a favourite.
Yeah.
He could have sent 60 here as well into Widdowson, but opted not to. Now, he will get a leak on the
nice.
Berserker, but it's a lot smaller than it would have been if he'd added the Snail, right?
Yeah, it's a gamble either way, because if they build to hold like 60, then it's like, well, I just gave up my pressure. And Zerker is pretty bad, so it's not like he's... If you go... Okay, he has Garg, so he can go 6 workers, but most of the time Zerker doesn't go 6 workers.
Oh,
That's
actually,
a
I
nice
take it
prologue.
back. Green got a really nice Fiesta here on wave 2.
Yeah.
Okay, fair play.
He's back.
He's back.
And he's gonna go for that lizard again.
Yeah.
Witterson doing the smart thing and just
Staying 5
know.
workers.
chilling, collecting. I mean, I think he probably could have pushed and built 2 guards, but maybe not that comfortable. Just wants to get the maiden out.
Yeah, I can see it. And he can also add a Gargoyles to the Maiden, so he's just super, super safe.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Man is chinchillin'.
speaking of Gargoyles with Berserkers, Kingdan's nice lucking the Gargoyle of his own here. And a
And
Steed. 2 very nice
Maybe
wave 3
thinking
units.
magician already.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. I mean, Witterson should be fine with the maiden. He built it 1 square up, which I don't think is the usual positioning, but it looks pretty clean either way, so... And King should also be fine. Obviously, Green gonna go for Fiesta. Didn't quite get that last creep, which would have been nice, but...
Yeah, I think he's fine with a 57% there. It was against a 40 send, and Burnt will be
Ooh,
able to
speaking
full
of-
cover, I think.
Would have been a perfect Fiesta.
Oh yeah, Widdowson's
But-
units, they cause mutual destruction against the wave there. But yeah, Burnt is able
Yeah.
to full cover. There's no king damage taken here on the side of 10%. I think they're pretty happy with the way this game is going so far. Green Spirit
everyone
now on
is
8
seven
workers. Oh, but
but,
Widdowson too.
Yeah, I think everyone is pretty high workers now. I mean, Jules thinks the game is over, but, I think it's not quite so much. 57-43 might be overstating it. Obviously, Green got a little punished on wave 1, not the best on 3, but here he should be able to... I mean, he's grading pretty hard with 8 workers, but he has very good units. King may be looking for a punish on 5 or 6. It's going to be able to send quite a bit on either one of those waves, especially after getting the full 80 resend here from Julian.
Yeah, I think he might go for a bit of a leak, though, against the 80 resend. Sure,
Yeah,
Berserker's very
good.
good on this wave, but his other 2 units are garbage, and an 80 send is quite a lot of Mythium.
Yeah, that's a pretty big threshold to break, because the Lizard DPS actually becomes only relevant thing. Zerka's super tanky on the wave, but doesn't really kill things very fast. Like
Yeah,
Nightmare.
exactly. Those lizards just doing tons and tons of damage here.
Yeah, and now we see the imps, the
Ooh.
drakes.
Okay.
So going for some king damage here. Julian does have the answer on this wave.
Oh, wow.
That's
a
not the
live
one I was
binder.
expecting.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the 140 gold guy who can harden himself a bit. Okay.
Oh, he's
maybe
changing
just
his
having some
mind.
fun.
I mean, the Life Binder, I kind of like the Life Binder, honestly. I think it's going to do a ton of damage. It's also pretty tanky.
Yeah. So it goes for the more the more safe option, getting the hardened value out.
Mhm.
The Drake is going to be pretty good here. I mean, it is a power merc, secretly.
Yeah.
And I would imagine Green is going to struggle versus these imps, considering he's full natural with the
Oh,
Sun
yeah.
Fang. Oh, he kills an imp.
He does kill an imp, but not an awful
Big
lot
guy.
else. Green Spirit
Yeah,
leaks there
and
68%, but Widdowson
got
69
his
as
guy.
well. And Widdowson is not playing Fiesta, so he gets less gold out of this than Green Spirit does. Meanwhile, Burnt, he is holding his own lane. He won't really cover very much, if anything, in the mid, though.
Yeah, I mean, his Nightmare is getting healed up a bit, but probably the Snail will be all that he can do.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe one more, sorry.
Meanwhile, King Dance, he's not going to cover very much in the mid either, so both teams taking King damage here on wave 5.
Yeah, not a bad trade, I would say. I mean, Julian is getting put into a pretty good spot, collecting so much of this cover. Everyone just same workers everywhere. The
Yeah.
only person with slightly more income is Green.
Green Spirit, he's 1 income ahead of the rest. What a god gamer.
Yeah, King looks like he's about 6 income behind everyone, but that's because he literally has 20 more myth than everybody.
Yeah.
So, all in all, a very, I don't know, peaceful game. Everyone's just kind of about the same. Very balanced.
It feels like quite a fast-paced game to me currently.
Yeah.
Like we're having a ton of sends. There haven't really been any starves yet, although King is starting to put the brakes on a little bit, it seems. And the players are just snowballing their own economies at this stage of the game.
Fast and aggressive, just like Green Spirit likes it. And I would imagine to see 7 cents here. The only builds that look kind of good on 7 is Julian,
Or
where you'd think about going 8, but I mean,
does King Dance reach that magical 160 for Mimic? He does not. Okay, so there are no sends on wave 7.
I lied to everyone. I think everyone got out the threshold that they wanted. The harp, the maiden, the Avenger that King shifted for.
Mm-hmm.
And the wave 8 will be a lot more punishing now that these players have committed to 7. Witter, the only one
Yeah.
building for 8, really.
I kind of like that, though. You've got King Dan's
Yeah.
building to cover wave 7, you've got Widdowson building to cover wave 8, so between them they're going to do just fine. But Green Spirit, he looks pretty rough on wave 8, honestly. He has a Harbinger, he has the Sunfang and the Howlers, which are just super, super weak on magic waves. And
Yeah.
Burnt, he's not looking much better, honestly. Nightmare's obviously good damage, but he doesn't really have the tanks in place to keep them alive against a big send on wave 8. And speaking
Yeah,
of big sends, We've got an
That's
ogre.
That's the yellow guy. Nightmare always struggling with this one.
yep. If he gets that pierce damage locked up on the ogre, he just never kills anything, pretty much.
Wow, a Triad Sun from Green as well, even into this Tantrum Mask. We'll see if it works. He goes for Brutes over a Mole,
Interesting.
maybe thinking that the Mole is just going to die to the Zerker in the split.
Which is
so
fair, but I think it
prioritizing
just
killing all the tanks?
reduces a lot of damage before that happens, right?
Yeah, I think... Okay, I mean, he has the left split, which is important. We have the Badger from Julian here.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to also pull the Ogre left. Yep, now all his melees can focus it. Same with the pack.
Can he kill it, though? Because the Badger's on the wave. He does kill the ogre. Okay, that's big. Meanwhile, Green Spirit, I mean, he's going to get a Fiesta here. Widdowson, he's holding. King Dans is doing extremely well as well. 83% meanwhile for Green, 59 for Burnt, 58 for King. But Widdowson, crucially, holding the Wave 8 send. This is a big lead now for Team Abraceit.
Yeah, that basically is going to give them the opening into this game. I mean, that was a very, very important hold from him. And it kind of looks like he's just trilling.
We do have a little bit of king damage on the side of King Dans and Widdowson, but nothing compared to the 40% remaining HP on the side of Team 10%.
And it looks like Julian and Green are not pushing that hard compared to, for example, King. Their builds obviously, I mean, Julian is quite good on 10 if you'll get out the Doppel, but Green is not looking the best there even with the Disciple that he has. So maybe just trying to bait in 10 Suns and hopefully hold and venture.
I do think the Sunfang is pretty good on 10 though.
True. That is a very solid tank and does some pretty good DPS with the ability actually.
So not as bad as you might think. Whereas, I mean, King Dans and Widdowson, they're both pretty solid there as well. We might expect to see a big wave 11 coming out from all sides, especially to prevent that venture as well.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Julian and Green are kind of hoping to go 12. Like, that looks to be, like, what could actually be the weakest wave upcoming for King and Widder, but if without Ascend here, it's pretty risky to skip.
Yeah, the thing is, if they want to go 12, they have to survive wave 11 first, and that's just not guaranteed with the amount of Mythium that King Dans and Widdowson have, especially the 15 Workers of King.
I mean, they're on good value to skip, potentially, and Julian is going to be able to make use of Vamp, and Magician will be strong for Green as well. It might be worth considering, but like you said, it is a lot of Mythium, and pretty risky when you're 40% King. I think the safer play for sure is just to income here.
The safer
or
play,
even go full yourself.
The safer play is definitely to send here, but safe plays don't always win games, right? They sometimes make you lose a bit slower.
Well, it looks like the other team is going to skip, and we'll see if that hurts them, because they aren't looking particularly good on this wave themselves, I must say. King adding that Fire Lord with APS and Vamp, it's going to be pretty tanky here. I mean, it should hopefully tank like a couple creeps and then outlast them and just be DPS after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Widdowson is on value with Vamp. He has decent tank value, but his damage is
kind of
missing?
lacking. Yeah.
Yeah.
But 1800 value, I'm pretty sure they can't die here from these sends.
Yeah.
And then they just have a massive like pressure lead with the more than 300 Mythium they already have saved.
They would have to donate a lot of gold here, and their values are pretty good.
So let's have a quick zoom into Widdowson's lane. He has the most value. He's doing pretty well there. His tank line surviving for ages. His Harbinger getting off multiple summons, so that's a ton of added value there as well. King Dans, meanwhile, I mean, his Firelord didn't tank anything, it seems, but he's still doing very, very well. And Widdowson, he's just fully holding here. 72% for King, but a full hold from Widdowson, and this one kind of feels like it's all said and done already.
Yeah, the value is just too much there. And again, Widdowson holding the crucial wave. Kind of looks like the game will be over on 13. And if not 13, probably 15. And this long wave only hurts. I mean, it's 17 workers versus 12. They're building up for the big 13 finish. And there's no real answers in either of their roles. There's soft answers like the Magician Disciples. I mean, Julian's value is looking pretty impressive. I'll give him that. And he does have APS Doppel.
With Vampire.
Yeah, it's something.
But the send is just going to be absolutely enormous when it comes. Like, King Dans has more than 500 already. Widdowson's nearly up to 500 himself. He's even pushed a few more workers there on Widdowson. He's up to 20 now. If they do decide to go for a wave 13, this is just going to be like a 700 Mythium send. And it's going to be really rough for Green Spirit and Burnt to deal with.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough one for sure. And Green even has the Piggies, which are just really bad on 13. Especially since they make you not split. They're gonna go for this Income King to try and live, and hopefully fight another day. But might not be. They might not be long for this world.
Yeah, and especially Widdowson is causing a very, very long wave here.
Yeah.
He got his left side killed, presumably on purpose, and as a result, this wave is just lasting forever while his 20
Really
workers
nice.
bring home that Mythium. Oh, he's even going to pro leak here.
He's gonna pro leak. It's gonna be the slowest leak of all time. Too.
Yeah.
It's like dogfighting creep.
It's a 25 gold shutdown, but that really is
they're
a
back.
drop in the ocean compared to the extra time that this generates.
Yeah.
Wow.
And going for probably the perfect Sun versus Doppel on 13. Just double 4 eyes versus the lifesteal, and then Brutes to slow down the Doppel.
Mhm.
And
Now,
this is a very smart ad.
Yep, the Iron Scales is really good. It can tank 2 4 eyes for a very, very long time. A couple of hardened Mudmen are not too shabby either. And of course we have this Lifebinder Sea Dragon combo as well to keep Burnt's tanks alive for as long as possible. He's nearly on value, honestly, with 2,700. But the send is absolutely huge, so this is going to be tough. They kind of need a miracle here to survive.
He needs to hold. He needs to cover.
Let's see,
because
can he
I
do
think
it?
Green is leaking.
Burnt Dasprote, can you pull off the miracle here? The 2 4 eyes are both on the Iron Scales. It does now go down. Doppelgangers are starting to be attacked. They are going down as well. It looks like the miracle is not on the cards today. This is going to be GG here on wave 13, going in favour of Team Abraceet. 100% for green, 107 for Burnt. And yeah, the GGs are called.
Really sick game from Witterson.
Yeah, really, really strong game, actually. Widdowson, I mean, he's back, Offmer.
Yeah. Rank 1 beast.
Rank 1 beast. And just look at the win probability charts here as well. Like, Jules is just giving a clear lead pretty much from start to finish in favour of Abraceet. They had a really good 57% lead already on wave 4, and it just carried through basically till the end of the game. Kingdans and Widdowson just not really letting Burnt and Green have a single inch to breathe, really.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that wave 1 really hurts
Yeah.
Green's start.
I think it's just never worth to place this second buzz, right? Like, I know the arguments that it creates a long wave and sometimes it gives you the perfect fiesta, but then sometimes it just backfires as well, you know?
The chance of holding is just like the EV on holding is just horrible.
I think the risk outweighs the benefits basically from doing this.
Yeah, it's not like there's a problem with leaking normally and with Consort. Like, you're still in a pretty good spot.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, he even has the ability to go Harpy on 2. So, like, it's even better than the buzz or the. I mean, it's worse than 2 buzzes, but it's something.
Yep, something. And I mean, we just saw, I guess, kind of first damage was this big wave 5 from both teams, but then the wave 8 really is what sealed the game, I think, with Widdowson holding his 220 send, Kingdans barely leaking, and Green Spirit and Burnt just taking a ton of king damage there. And then that just translated into a straight wave 13 play, where Kingdans and Widdowson close out the game. Really, really solid play there from Abraceet.
Yeah, it was a tough spot for Green and Julian, because they could, like, their only line was to try and go for like a 7 undercut or go income there and try and hold better, but with their units, like, 8 was going to be a challenge all the time, and they just couldn't get enough Mythium to leak them on 7.
Yeah.
Like, Mimic on 7 might have leaked King, but other than that, I mean, I think Witter could have leaked on 7 to like Mole even. Just because the Untantrum Hellraiser on 7 is not that impressive versus Mole.
Yeah, I mean, it does 25% less damage, right? So it's quite a lot less. It actually can leak, and the rest of his units were super weak there. The Berserker, it's stuff like that is just not the units you need on Wave 7, and one good unit is not always enough. But yeah, I mean, we have a 1-0 lead now for Abraceet. Hopefully, Team 10% can bring it back to at least give us a 3-game series that we so wish to see. But Offmer, while we wait for the players, have you seen the new overlay that Bosun's built for Legion TD?
Yeah, it's really nice. It's like feels like the kind of thing that you often see in other games. So I'm very happy that someone managed to make that.
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. Guys in Twitch chat, if you haven't seen it yet, hover over, get that overlay up on your screens. You can flick through all the players' builds as the waves progress. You can even see match history. So if you missed any of the earlier matches, you can go in, check those, and see the results of previous games as well. But guys, enough plugging. Here is game number 2.
Yeah, so sticking with the cash out and Green going for the cartel now. Gets the pixie this time. But,
Oh,
and it's actually, yeah, there we go.
a Fiestason.
That's not the best Siestas openers, I must say.
Yeah.
Maybe could go for the tree that Johnny loves so much, but there's nothing even great with the tree afterwards, I gotta say. Great late game, though.
Yeah, really solid late game there with the APS Doomsday Halo combo as well. Tree and Canopy still a very strong combo, although it has been nerfed a little bit, which I think makes it a lot more balanced than it was prior.
Yeah. King has the same role he did from the first series. APS, Firelord, Archer, good tanks.
Oh, and Villain in the
insane
game as
role.
well. It's really
Yeah.
strong. King has a really good role, actually. A really good
Yeah.
role. His early game may be a bit rough.
Yeah, the Wanderer is no Mudman for sure.
Yeah.
But can kind of get through the early game just by using like 2 archers, maybe the Zerker, the Firelord. Like they can kind of put together a reasonable amount of damage.
Yeah. Oh, Widdowson didn't take that Doomsday in his role, by the way.
Yeah,
So
maybe just ran out of slots because he's gonna play the round the anglers.
he does get
got the
snailed.
Fiesta.
That is going to give him his Fiesta, but it's quite a big leak there to the snail. Burnt is getting starved by a tryhard, but he's fine with that on the Bone Crusher, I think.
Great
And
openers for this kind of game.
yeah, really nice openers. You love to be on 5 workers, actually, when you send into a Fiesta. There's nothing worse than starting like a Pyro opener or something and sending into
Yeah.
a Fiesta player.
Just miserable. But yeah, now like you mentioned, Willerson kind of is gonna feel the pressure a bit.
Yep. Is this even going to cause a bit of king damage, or can King Dance hold this? I think he's fine, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of more value than you usually have because he's in a tier 1. Just use the guard to
Oh, yeah.
split.
Yeah, of course. So Widdowson here sends the Dragon Turtle into Mr. Green Spirit. I wonder if he's going to add the Snail as well. It looks like Burnt should be very fine, though, because he does have that
Yeah.
Wild Shroom ad here. That's thanks to the cash out, by the way. In fact, it's thanks to the
That
cash
is-
out and the leak gold. If it wasn't for both, he wouldn't be able to have so much value and 5 workers.
Yeah, I think he would be like it would be manageable for him anyways with his units. But yeah, it's definitely nice that he gets out a big unit already.
Yeah.
And Green building the nerfed combo. But
Oh.
yeah, it's solid.
It's still a combo. And meanwhile, Widdowson, I think he's going to go for a bit of a leak here to the double snail resend from Green.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny because Green is like in his head like, oh, I'm just like turbo wrecking this guy. Like he's just like he's playing anglers, he's behind, it's
Yep.
over. So, I mean, Widdowson, it's not the worst thing in the world, it's still not great for him, but he is getting Fiestas.
Yeah. I think this is still good for Team 10%. I think these are good trades for them.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad for Widdowson as you might otherwise think.
Yeah, and King went 6 workers here and is getting
An
Fiend
80 cent?
snail. Yeah, it's
I feel like Burnt
Honestly,
has
if
to send
he-
the snail here as well, right? Like even
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
gargoyles, so King Dance is very strong. I can understand why he went 6 workers, but against an 80?
yeah. Fiend kind of wrecks this build, wrecks the Gargs on 3 in terms
Wait.
of damage.
Burnt
Full
doesn't
send?
add the snail. Okay.
Well, can it kill the Archer? I guess is the question.
I can see that line of reasoning, maybe, but it looks like no is the answer. This is just going to be a hold from King.
Yeah, I think it's a little one. I don't know if it would actually leak it, but in my head it should.
Yeah, in my head, it's a really powerful send, because the snail obviously is tanking the archer for a long time, and the fiend is just ripping through the gargoyles.
Yeah. Green having to build the flower on 3. Very unusual build
Mhm.
path he has this game.
It is
And-
going to be a hold, though, I think, with the
Yeah.
flower, right?
Should
Oh,
be
he's actually
okay.
going for a pixie here.
Not the worst, because it actually can kill a dino.
Oh, I think it's going to tank
it's
too
good.
much.
Yeah, I think he's trying to kill it against no sign. But,
But he's actually getting yes
Yeah,
send,
it
that's the
does.
problem.
yeah. We'll see if Mr. Dino takes out Green Spirit here.
Yeah. Oh,
Some
meanwhile,
decent split tanking with this flower.
Burnt is easily holding, so even if Green does leak, he's going to cover his mate. And actually, it looks like we have misplaced doubts because Green Spirit easily holding. He knows what he's about.
And yeah,
Widdowson holding as
also
well.
holding here. Oh, King decided to be even better at the game. Swap his Wander out for a Budvet and swap out his APS for a Tempest.
Oh,
So,
that is a spicy roll. He's actually kept the Tempest as well. So this is going to be a case of how many buffs can you fit on one Archer and one Phoenix, I guess.
yeah, he dropped the APS at least, so not going to be too big of a nightmare. But yeah, it's pretty nice for him, I'd say. His Tempest does make his Archer not tank, which forces you to play a little higher value early game. But it definitely is a better late game position to have it already built.
Alright, there's another DT sent into green, but he's very, very fine against that. Widdowson going 385 value into wave 5. He's going to be pretty fine, I think, against a single snail send, whereas something like 2 DTs would probably have wrecked him, but he's rewarded here for his aggressive play.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect bounty players to play quite this. Like, the normal thing to do here would be to get bounty.
Yeah, right?
But Widdowson obviously playing Fiesta, allowed to take a lot more risks.
Mhm.
And we're going to see some Cannoneers here.
Oh, the
Widdowson
Berserker
just-
from Kingdens is just lovely.
Yeah,
He should be doing fine
perfect.
here. And we get the Canopy out from Widdowson and likewise from Green. So the two builds are actually starting to look fairly similar, despite one of the players being on Fiesta.
Yeah. And the Cannoneer into the Zerker definitely sucks. I mean, you don't really want to send Drake into Green Devils, which is the only thing he's shown. And then, yeah, now this is not gonna be very good.
Expecting to see some pings coming out from Burnt here.
Yeah. But again, he just had income, so it's not the biggest investment for him. And Widdowson will be fine to this income. Probably gets his bounty now on 7. Collects all those stacks on wave 7.
Yep.
Very juicy. Actually, is Widdowson? No, he's fine.
He's totally fine. The Canopy's just way too strong on this wave. And meanwhile, Kingdens, he is holding against the 120 send there, so that's very nice for him. But all 4 players are holding, so nothing much to write home about, at least for now.
Green pushing super aggressively here. Really gonna count on that Tree of Life Canopy on 8. I wonder if King is willing to, try and break it with the Cannoneer Lizard type stuff.
I think it's more likely to see just a straight wave 9 or even 10 send, actually, from the players.
That would be perfectly reasonable too. We do see that bounty now. So Widdowson Fiesta, but lowest workers. Kind of just chilling and trying to play around his Kingpin Power Spike. It's basically like he's playing Castle at this point. He's gotten some Fiesta value, but really not too much.
And those waves where he did leak were quite big leaks as well. We had a 67 on 1, a 74 on 2, and then he hasn't leaked again since.
Oh. This bounty is dying without collecting
It's a bit sad.
everything.
It got most of the
Sucks,
stats, but not all of them.
Yeah, it's not bad. His pin should be in good shape.
Alright, there's that
And
Cannoneer from Kingdens,
yeah.
so let's see. I think Green Spirit is just going to be fine here. I mean, King, he can't afford 2 Cannoneers, so he's going for 1
got
Cannoneer
no
and 2
damage,
Lizards, I
though.
guess.
I think this will leak pretty badly. It's my suspicion.
Well, we're about to find out. Burnt Das Broke, though, he should be very fine, I think. He's got solid tanks here. He's got a Dark Mage. He's got a Sky Queen. I think he's going to do very well.
Yeah, and King doesn't believe in the full send. Whereas I'm pretty sure if you send another lizard or some snails here, it's actually like a giga leak.
Yeah, I mean, all of his other units are going down pretty quickly. That just leaves the Canopy against the wave. So maybe one more lizard would have been enough, but it's hard to say.
I think this is like a 50% leak, or even more.
Let's watch that bad boy's health. Meanwhile, Burnt Das Waldo in lane 4, he does go for a bit of a leak.
Yep.
90% on green, 58
I meant 50%
on
of the
Burnt.
wave, I guess.
Oh, that's a rough one. And Kingdown's now wishing he'd added that second lizard. This would have been a huge leak from green.
Yeah, it's it's like since they changed it, like you barely need to, if the guy doesn't have any damage, they just leak really hard on E.
Yeah.
And
So
they're
I guess
going for Tridents after donating 1,000,000 gold, so we'll see how that goes. It is the
Yeah.
best wave though.
Well, Kingdowns is going to be overvalue. Wooderson's not far off. In fact, Wooderson is going to be overvalue because of the Kingpin gold there.
Yep. And he does have Immortal Canopy as his DPS here to supplement the Kingpin, so that's not bad.
It certainly helps.
And he's going for another damage DPS Welshing.
There is a Four Eyes walking into Wooderson's lane, but I think he's just going to absolutely evaporate the wave creeps before the Four Eyes even gets onto his Kingpin.
They're both overvalued.
And Kingdowns has some hardened Mudmen as well.
And the Fire Lord, I think, is be thinking pretty reasonably. Looks like it's not anymore, but it did at the start of the wave.
Now we have the Four Eyes is attacking the Immortal Canopy, and the Kingpin is just cleaning up on the wave. This is perfect aggro for Wooderson. He's got his Kingpin tanking all of the pierce damage, he's got his Canopy tanking the magic damage, and it looks like he's going to leak just the Four Eyes, while Kingdowns leaks 4 creeps against a 300 Mythium send.
Yeah, that 8 did not go as well. And, I mean, if you imagine how big these leaks would be if they were able to hold 8. Well, at least one of them was able to.
Wow. That newly nerfed Canopy Tree of Life combo, I knew it was weaker than it was before, but that was bad. 90% on wave 8 there. Green
Kind of
Spirit
an
maybe...
embarrassing showing, you might even think.
Yeah, I mean, Green Spirit maybe...
I don't think he's seen it, yeah.
Yeah, not used to the newly nerfed combo, because that would have held like anything with the old combo before the nerfs.
You would have needed something like 3 Cannoneers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, got a little punish there. Just a little lack of knowledge there. But they are a bit behind now. Not sure what their line is. I mean, there's Fred in this game. Wooderson has been saving on Julian the whole time.
Yeah, he has 260 Mythium stored.
Yeah, they kind of need a send here. Twitter and King are going for leaks.
Oh, Green and Burnt, they do
any
save
chance.
here. Alright. So what are their options now? There's Villain in the game, so they can try to hold, but it's going to be a rough one here. We've got giant snails coming out from both Kingdowns and Wooderson, so it's going to be pretty much Witch plus full giant snails, more or less.
It's a tough spot, at least. I mean, these giant snails are very rough for the Halo. Very rough for the Sky Queens.
Yeah. No, this is just a very big send, and their King HP is looking kind of rough as well. They actually go Creditor. This is a really interesting one-off. Like, it's going to backfire. It's going to look like a stupid play, but it's actually probably their best chance of winning the game is to just take a big risk here. And yeah, the well-played GG comes out immediately. They took a gamble. The gamble lost, but I like the fact they went for it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they're super far behind. They realize that playing Standard is going to get them nowhere, especially against builds that are as good as King's.
Yep.
I mean, like, you can leak King on 0 of the waves in the game, so he literally doesn't have a weak wave because he has Zerker for 20. So,
yep.
Yeah. Don't really want to play from behind and versus that kind of build.
I think that's pretty solid decision making from Green Spirit and Burnt Desperate there. They know that they're in a rough spot, and maybe their only chance is to go for some crazy play, so they Creditor while receiving 300 Mythium sends, and it didn't work out for them, but you know, there's no shame in losing to Abracet. These are some of the very best Legion TD players in the world, and what's more is Green and Burnt, they are going to have one more chance to make it through to tomorrow, because they will be playing in the last chance match up against, let me see.
They're in that third game right now. I think it just started, actually.
Ah, so we should hop into, whose match is it? It's Ashton, right? Ashton and X-God? And they're up against Topler and Johnny C.
We have 15 seconds before we can spectate.
Oh, they really have just started.
Yeah, it's 1-1 from the match history.
Spicy. All right, let me update the scoreboard while we wait for those 15 seconds then.
I'm horrible at counting. Oh, I did it. Amazing.
All right. Well, that was a very quick 2-0 for Abrasiet, so unlucky there to Team 10%. Very well played from Abrasiet. And meanwhile, as Offma was just saying, we do have another match on the way. This one is the loser's match, so this is a bit of a last chance now. Whoever wins this match gets one more go, playing off against Burnt and Green, but whoever loses this match is out of the tournament for good. So this is a spicy one, and Ashton is opening with a Fiesta Consort.
And he got snailed.
And he got snailed.
Unlucky.
Unlucky.
And we have the double chaos.
Double
from
chaos.
Maya in the hole.
That's a really interesting one. Ashton
That's a
leaking
very
75% there. Now, of course, X-God will hold, and it's going to make a very, very long wave as well. Crusher covering for a Fiesta Mate, one of the slowest possible waves.
And because of that, Ashton kind of has to stay 5 workers.
Yeah.
And just do the thing that Green did.
Yep.
Build that slime, build that buzz.
And he does.
And yeah, everyone taking their snails on income. Maybe not too long. No, everyone goes for it. Fair enough. It's free money.
And X-God adding the Harpy here and a couple of Peewees as well. He should be fine. He will get a 40 send though, so that's one to keep an eye on at least. But Ashton adding the slime and the buzz, as you say, he should do pretty well here. It might be a Fiesta.
And respecting the 40 cent, not respecting a DT after income, which would have just completely wrecked him.
Oh yeah. And against
that is actually very
40,
bold.
How is X-God doing? Is that Bone Crusher going to get overwhelmed, or is it just going to reach critical mass? It looks like he's
chilling.
I think he's fine, yeah. And meanwhile, Ashton, he's getting a really nice Fiesta here.
Yeah, very clean. We saw the same from Green last game with the slime and the consort. Different positioning, but same result.
25% there from Mr. Ashton. A couple more Peewees added for X-God. And we get a couple of DTs sent out as well. Is this going to cause any leaks? I think Johnny C is going to be more than fine. He can add a Devilfish or something. He's actually going for a Warg, though.
Gold kind of sucks. Like, low-key, I would be down to sell this for a casket.
Yeah? Yeah, honestly,
like,
that's
if you're going to
pretty good.
overbuild, might as well commit. And maybe, I think he would have leaked to a full send here, but obviously you can't know that he's...
building a Warg on
when you
3.
see someone build a buzz on 2, you think they're probably not 6 workers or very pushed at all, so
exactly.
completely reasonable.
Oh, is this going to be another spicy Fiesta for Ashton?
Yeah, not bad, and he went double consort to get this, so that's
33%
very nice
there.
for him.
So yeah, he got a big
That
leak
is
on
very
wave
strong.
1 with the snail send, but he's got some really, really nice Fiestas on wave 2 and 3.
Yeah, and he has double consort for 4, so it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to play against that. He has a very good 5 answer with Sea Dragon. The best line against him is, knowing what we know, is straight 6, but he has the counter to that, which is pushing 9 workers.
Wow, Ashton straight pushing 9 workers here on wave 4. The man just knows no fear.
And we have X cover over here.
X cover with the value. 420 value wave 4 there for X-God.
Beast.
And Ashton does go for a full send here against Toppler on wave 4 with the DT Snail.
He is on value, but
It's not great value.
Yeah, it doesn't tank that much. Good splitting between the Orchid and the Flower at least, so if the Flower doesn't go down too fast, usually it's fine, and I think he'll be okay.
Oh, he's totally fine. He's got more than enough. Very nice split tanking there for Toppler Marginisi. Gives him an easy hold.
He is saving onto X-God, and he'll probably go wave 6. Especially after that 5 cent. You see the Sea Dragon, and yeah, Johnny going for the plan we talked about, which is just straight 6 onto this build. Ashton having to basically feed.
Offma, bear with me, because I've played against Toppler and Johnny C on the ladder more than once. I'm thinking it's going to be wave number 7 from these guys.
Yeah, you know, once you see the Sea Dragon, maybe you're like, oh, he's
7.
like slime on 6. Like this Mimic is about to eat 40 gold.
Yep.
Looks pretty good to me.
And especially because they're receiving some income sends here as well,
Yeah.
they're just not under any pressure. I think Johnny and Toppler can easily afford to go wave 7 here, and they're threatening
There we
big
go.
leaks there.
One longer.
Oh, oh, you know it.
And they're getting a push from this as well. And Ashen kind of like the 9 working out, but
Ah,
well, one of them is going one longer. But yeah, I think it's fine for Tuplumwood to just send here and scale a bit. This Drake is probably, I mean, Grawl means very uncomfortable to try and full send because you could never know what that is. He
yeah.
has Bunk on 6 if he wants it.
I think he probably does want it, honestly. Bunk,
Yeah.
obviously not very good on 6 at all, but they're probably
he
expecting
got
the
a
wave
better
7
one.
send at this point.
Okay, I leaked with an Avenger on 6 to Brutes, and I was just like, man, this unit kind of sucks versus the new Wave 6.
And Drake might even be better than Brute against it. Let's find out. Because it is now
I mean-
full tanking the wave. It's taking a lot of bonus damage there with the wave 6 passive. And the Drake and Lizard pretty well suited for ripping through an Avenger. But I guess he's going to
Value
be
is
fine.
just too strong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
690 value on wave 6.
delicious. And they go for some income on 7.
Oh,
This Mimic is about to...
this Mimic
chew.
is going to get fat, Offma. This is a
Yeah.
lot of slimes and a slime siren as well. This Mimic is going to chew.
I see a potential Pennywise incident as well.
Oh, yeah.
With the consorts, like maybe this Mimic eats this one, and then the boys try and kill the Mimic, but the Mimic kills everyone too fast. Let's hope for the best, though.
Yep. Meanwhile, there's a couple of income sends for Johnny and Toppler. They're both going to be fine, so let's just focus on Ashton's lane and see this Mimic cook. There's 6 gold already. There's another 3, another 3.
It's 12?
Oh, that
Oh,
Slime
yeah,
Mummy
he's gonna-
is full mana,
Oh.
but that's going to backfire.
More gold for...
Oh.
15?
Oh, the Mimic.
18, 21,
Oh,
24, 30,
wow, that's
33.
a 33 gold Mimic there for Johnny
Oh,
C.
man.
That was very, very high value. Holy moly.
Yeah, I mean, that makes up basically for missing the income.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, there's the Cover God.
Wait, he's going to get more? Oh, he did
Oh
get
my
one
God,
more!
Another +3. Amazing.
All right,
And
more income.
from X-God and Ashram.
So these guys just
That's
trying to
saying-
snowball.
Yeah, just starve us if you can.
Oh, they will. They will,
Oh,
Ahmed.
but they will. I mean, it's not the worst idea. I mean, they have Savior in the game. Like, if bad things happen, there's always a bailout. Obviously, with the other spells, if you take Savior, they take the other ones. It's not quite as good. But
Yeah, true.
that should be full send from X-God here, and it might work because these atoms might be super dead.
Let's have a look. If this one on the left dies, that's a decent portion of his damage, and it is taking focus, but I think he's going
Maybe
to
just
clean the
split taking
creeps up.
like a
Yeah, he's
god.
going to be fine. Is that cannon in range of the atom? It is, but it's ignoring it for now.
Yeah, I think the Canopy being starting so low HP helps the targeting, but I think
Yeah.
it does leak here.
Yeah, but it's a pro
Not
league,
big,
though.
but
Does he
yeah,
kill
they
one
want
more?
this 9 cent.
Okay, 56% there for Johnny C. Unfortunately, he's not playing Fiesta this time around.
Yeah, Chaos God this time.
Chaos God Johnny C.
Yeah, he built a Grawl on 8. What can you do? He was showing full arcane. Like, you would expect 9 in the traditionally.
Mhm.
And
More-
they're gonna go one longer.
Yeah, let's just go one longer. And when they get
Yeah,
another
it's gonna
income
fail.
send here, I think they might just go one longer. But with
I
Ash...
think they might have to send, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, he's hiding it? He's going back for the antler instead.
Oh, so then, you build the LOD on 10.
You build the LOD on 10 and you get the Hades out for 11 when it's too late and there's nothing they can do about it.
X-God thinking with his DPS bunk.
Interesting.
He's really
does-
wants pusher on it, I guess.
It does tank a little bit just because he's built so far up in the lane where aggro
Yeah,
goes a
actually,
little bit
it's-
weird.
Yeah, it's not bad actually.
It's going to full tank the splits as well when that comes around.
Yeah, it's not bad. And he'll get Butcher on it, which is something.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
If the weekly challenges taught me anything, it's secretly very, very good on 13. And yeah, well, why not one longer?
Well, Xcod and Ashton at least skip this wave with their income, it seems. Though they might just decide to go for King Attack or something like this.
Genius mode is here. Oh, never mind. What?
Oh, the Lord. The Lord from Xcod.
Whoa, relax. Don't leak the Leviathan consort tech. It's pretty funny, but it's honestly not that bad. I mean, he's trying to get max value to hold here.
Yeah.
I mean,
while Xcod is hedging his bets and building against Wave 11 there with the LOD.
Love that. Ballsy, but, you know, if you have a read on someone's playstyle, this is the kind of stuff you can do.
Yeah, for sure. And they've
People who... Oh yeah, go ahead.
They've been enjoying so much more income as well than Johnny and Toppler for this whole time with their income sends every wave. Johnny C gets another good Fiesta. Shame he's Chaos.
Yeah. It's kind of all down to how much king damage people take here.
Yeah, this is really all in already from Toppler and Johnny C, right? Because they've been saving so long, starving themselves of income, and Xcod with that absolute beast of a read on wave 10, building the LOD, not expecting the send to come there. He can now just, I mean, Hades or Haven, whichever one he wants to go for. I think I would Haven in this situation. I mean, Hades, I would
tough
Hades.
Call. Yeah, because Hades is a lot trickier to send versus on this wave.
Yeah. Oh, he even gets a Dark Mage
got a
as well.
full send versus Haven. And they do go double Venture, so that's the one thing on their side. Ashton
is taking Venture here. His last send was, what was it, wave 7, right?
7? Yeah.
And he just ventures on 11?
Yeah, I guess Xcod was like, I got us.
Yeah, I've got the Hades, bro. And the banana tree. I'm going to be fine.
And the thing is, Ashton is really insane here too with the Leviathan LOD. Like,
yeah, and the Antler
Levi
tank
is like
value.
maybe the best tank on this wave, low-key.
Xcod is just easily cleaning up his 480 send.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make it look tough. Meanwhile, Johnny C leaks 73% to income. Ashton does leak 88, but remember he took the venture, and Toppler's leaking as well.
Uh-oh.
But the thing is, Xcod just has infinite value still alive in the mid with the Hades, with one summon out. He's going to get another summon pretty quickly.
Sky Queen's like, I'll tank for you.
I think they're just going to take less damage. If, in fact, Xcod takes any damage here, he just full covers.
Yeah, he has to kill the Witch now, unfortunately, but... Yeah, honestly, if he didn't focus the Witch, I think he's killing everything besides it. But
yeah, right?
This means no king damage, basically. And, yeah, it's a pretty good spot, I'd say.
I think that's a pretty good spot, yeah. You get saved on for... Because it was, what, 5 waves for Xcod? His last send was on 6, maybe?
Yeah, I think they're going to income one more time and then go 15. This is my read on what their plans are. Okay.
They're just so rich as well. They're just so rich on Xcod and Ashton. Look at these shutdowns. 50 for Xcod, 50 for Ashton. Remember, they were incoming the whole time that they were being starved, so they just have so much more gold to play with than Johnny and Toppler.
Yeah. They're trying to build up, like, God builds slowly. White main DK. Well, he got rid of the APS, maybe realizing that APS isn't actually that high value when it buffs 2 atoms.
Yeah. And there's another full income send here, which I think Johnny is going to leak to pretty decently. Toppler might do okay. He did get the Shadow Dancer down here. But it is the main body's getting focused.
The DK is dead. He has to Orchid for damage.
Wait.
I think it's okay.
Did these guys just win with income sends, Offma? That's a 98% leak from Johnny C. Now, Toppler's doing better, but he's still going to leak 2 Drakes.
Man, income is just so broken.
Yeah. 43% there for Toppler. They only have 61% HP on the king already. This is going to shave off another, what, 30% of that?
Yeah, I mean, they have more lithium, but they also have way less workers and less value. Or, well, their value's about the same,
Oh,
especially
wow.
with Venture coming, but...
I said
Loki, if that
30%.
was a
They've
full
actually
set.
lost 50% of their HP, man. They've got 10% remaining. Sure, they've got Venture, but they're so far
They're
behind in the
undervalued.
game.
With Venture.
Yeah, this is...
And XGod is just giga on value, and they have Ashen's 100 income ahead of them, like...
yeah, he's 100 income ahead of them. He's also
This
on
fi-
value.
You
And
can't go 14 even, because it's like XGod has like every tier 6 in the game. So he's strong on everything. Ashen's on value with this is super Hades for sure. White main buff on it too.
wow, White Mane double Leviathan Hades. Ashton is just looking super scary right now. But they even
Can
have
try
more
14.
workers off them. Like, they're getting saved on. Their
Yeah.
income's sending their opponents, and they have the worker lead as well. There's something wrong in this equation.
Yeah, they seemingly have broken how Legion works in this particular game, and they're gonna try for like this is the only way you can leak double Hades. But yeah, they're gonna click the income button. Ashen sending some Ashens, and I think they're just gonna hold.
I think they're either going to hold or leak so small that it doesn't matter.
And so this is an attempt to kill, but they're on value. Well, Ashen's on oh,
Ooh.
that's a pretty good answer for 14.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, his tanks, arcane tanks, are pretty bad, but actually he doesn't have an arcane tank anymore. He has to go for tree.
The other good answer to 14 is just having 3,300 value on wave 14 as well, you know?
Yeah, it's not bad. I heard somebody. Though, we'll see how they do.
Alright, this is big now. 740 Mythium for XGod, 640 for Ashton Butcher, who I am expecting to just comfortably hold there, especially since he got the smaller send. XGod, I mean, it looks like a leak. It's just not going to be enough, I don't think. And Ashton, yeah, he's making short work of this wave. His flying archers just dealing infinite damage to everything. It does now die, but he's easily holding. And even XGod clears the entire wave, leaking only the sends. Sure, it's a 50 gold shutdown, but it's nowhere near enough. Yonisi and Topla Majanisi, I think the only reason they haven't forfeited
Battling
yet...
the income.
Yeah,
But are they dead to these?
no, they
Nah,
don't
they're
die to the
super holds.
sends here. Tupla's going to hold, so...
I mean, if they had went for a race, they would be dead. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But the game
Oh.
is over. Like, there's I
Yeah.
don't see any line where Johnny and Tupla come back into this one, I'm afraid. They just don't want to give up.
80s, full covering.
I can understand as well why they want to play it out. Like, this is their
Yeah,
game
plus
3 in the lower bracket, so it's do or die here. They even if they think they've got a 1% chance of winning, they're gonna try for it, which I respect that. But I think they really are praying for a miracle to our Lord and Savior Jules on this one.
Yeah, they're going for the overbuild play and praying that they get sent early. But the small problem is finding a wave to leak them on, because right now it looks like you can't leak them until 20.
Yeah, and the other small
Like maybe
problem
18?
the other small problem is that Ashton has 42 workers currently.
Well, that's a slight problem when he has about the workers of your team combined.
Yeah. Ashton 42 workers, Team Mayo in the whole 45 workers.
Yeah. Small problem there.
Yeah. And these guys are going to start leaking no send as well, meanwhile. Oh, never mind. Topler was shifting 800 gold here. So they do go for the good old overbuild and starve. But they are receiving an insane amount of Mythium here. Maybe not expecting Ashton to have quite so many workers.
Yeah, it's a super long wave with the Pro League.
Or with the Pro League. But the Pro League is only good for one team here, and that's the team that has double your workers, my friends.
Yeah, there's going to be a few of these witches in the Llama's lane. Luckily, Ashton being nice, not sending Shaman Centaur,
Yeah,
giving him a chance.
maybe Ashton doesn't know the tech, you know? He's so 2000 and late.
Yeah, I mean, he showed it off earlier today, but maybe that was an accident. But no, witches are great versus builds, especially if he were to nice luck some more flowers. Obviously, he nice lucked absolutely nothing. Oh, Orchid's not bad.
Orchid's not bad, but I just don't see it ever being
Yeah.
enough. Like, he's so far undervalued. Johnny C's
Yeah.
minus 500 as well. He's hardening his Mudman for all they're worth, but that's not an awful lot, if I'm honest.
Just bad units too. Like you have this much invested in Arcane. And Caskets aren't horrible here, but they're not exactly world beaters.
Yeah, they're just not what you need when you're getting a 780 Mythium send on wave 16. But speaking of sends, this is a 1,160 send from Mr. Butcher into Tupla Mayonnaise, and I'm pretty sure that Mayo in the hole, your tournament dreams are over here on wave 16.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they fought two of the most winningest Nova Cup teams in a row in their bracket. Little unfortunate, but that's kind of the way things are looking in Nova Cup Div 1 these days.
Yeah, really, really spicy games. And, you know, well played. Johnny C and Tupla Mayonnaise, this is their first tournament series together, and they have played some very, very good games. First up against the... remind me of... Abrasiert. First up against Abrasiert, and then here against Team X-Crash in the lower bracket. And they put up a solid performance as well, going 1-1 against multiple tournament winners X-Crash. So fair play to those guys, and I hope to see them back in Nova Cup in the future. But massive congratulations to the winners, X-Crash. They will go through now to the last chance match, where they will face off once again against their old rivals Burnt and Green Spirit. So guys, we do need to have another probably 10-minute break to let the players kind of chill out and stuff before their next series. Make sure you guys are still here, because those are going to be some really, really cool games in the last chance bracket. Offma, any favourites for you in that one?
We're basically seeing a best of 3. Let me think. I'll give it to XGod and Ashen. Ashen's going to be fired up to fix his Ranger mistake.
All right, guys. So, yeah, we are going to call a quick 10-minute break for the players now. Don't go anywhere. We've got some exciting games coming right up. Joke on You is doing way too well here. Look at this. The Azeria is just killing everything. The Centaur will get through, but Joke on You, what an insane hold. Wow. I mean, there's a reason this guy hit Legend. The Phoenix is just destroying the backline. Is she even holding? I think Lucy's just holding here.
Everything joins me in time.
XGod. I mean, he's got 2 Drakes out there with the MPS buff, with the Leviathan buff. That looks like a hold as well. Oh, Fiesta. Oh, 3 Fiesta picks. Everybody linking. What a Fiesta here on Wave 9. 61 for XGod, 71 for Lucy, 56 for Drakir. Look at the Kings, look at the Kings, look at the Kings. It's so close. It's so close. Oh! It's so close. Let's zoom out so we can see both sides at once. Oh, what? So close, but I think with 30% it's just not enough. And yes, X-Crash are your July Nova Cup champions. Well played. No.
Build something. Oh, no.
It is a bounty. Okay. Hello guys, welcome back, Offma. It's been a long day already, but we've got a very, very cool matchup against Abraseat. Sorry, not Abraseat, it is 10% versus X-Crash. So again, a repeat of last month's final, where of course X-Crash came out on top, but we did see a reverse of that, didn't we, when we saw...
Yeah, little quick 2-0 punch back from Green Julian.
So now we've got a bit of back and forth between these two teams. Clearly X-Crash won the more important game with the July Grand Finals, taking home that crown. But Burnt and Green coming out on top already here in August is putting them in good stead, I think, as we go into the later stages of the game. So we'll have to see now, are they able to win again where it counts the most? Because only one of these teams is going to make it through to tomorrow's semi-finals. And it really could go either way. I just cannot put an edge either way between these two teams. They're so evenly matched.
Yeah, they play some very, very crazy games. I mean, we saw what would have been like 4 or 5 crazy games from the last finals, and another one in their opening match.
Mhm.
I would expect to see some more interesting stuff, especially with all or 3 of these players willing to play Fiesta. Like, might see some spicy games again.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, we have got a lobby open. It looks like we're just waiting for Mr. Ashton.
Indeed.
Oh, a hurricane Offmer.
Yeah, it's coming. Surely, Jules has me.
When's it due? Do you know?
It's sometime this night is supposed to pass through.
Okay.
This weekend is supposed to be a bit rainy
Oh,
and perhaps worse.
well, good luck with that, my friend. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
If nothing else, we need you in one piece for the Novacast again tomorrow.
Yeah, if my power goes out, it's just nice luck.
Oh, still waiting for Ashton, I guess. All right, guys, it looks like the players are still AFK. Oh, we've got Ashton.
Our hero.
We've got Ashton.
We also have Nevrotic trying to balance out the teams.
He's just excited to play. Oh, we've got some flame between the teams here as well, with Julian throwing out the Aston. So what kind of series can you expect here, Offmer? We might as well pad while we're waiting for players to come back.
Could go either way. Oh, hold up. X got his back. He needs to figure out how to remove the 3rd player from his team.
X-God? Come on, you can
X-God?
figure it out. You're a clever guy. Yeah, okay, the players are still sorting themselves out, so Offmer, what kind of play styles do you expect from these guys?
I mean, we're gonna see the usual stuff from Ashton, always incoming. But the thing is, I think Green and Julian are also a team that's very willing to play for scaling. I mean, Green especially is an excellent player for late game. Understands how to keep his income high in the early. Then they're all very good at overbuilding in the mid game. There's definitely no slashes that. So
overbuilding is their favorites for all of them.
Yeah, that's actually true. They all love to overbuild mid game. But Green and Julian, we've seen also actually from all 4 of these guys, like the Giga Worker pushes in the mid game as well. So we'll probably see some relatively chill early games into some more dynamic mid games. Is what I would imagine.
I feel like games with Julian go one of 2 ways. He either goes for like a Giga push in the mid game, or he's like 10 workers on wave 15. You know,
Yeah.
there's never a middle ground with him. It's always one or the other. But anyway, guys, thankfully the time for padding is over, and game number 1 of this last chance match between X-Crash on the left and the 10%ers on the right is here.
He has the banker with his yellow rolls. It's kind of hard to play.
Unlucky. He's actually going to...
Yes.
Surely he's not actually playing banker in a tournament match.
Let him cook.
Let him cook.
But yeah, it's not very good with his units. You really want X-God missing. You want some arcane with it. You probably want. I mean, Mask is quite good with it.
I mean, he's going for the smiley face. He saw how well it worked out for King Dans in the other game, so he's trying to copy the tech, right?
Yeah, it's very good. Everyone should VOD review that one.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, other than the banker, Ashton's YOLO roll's actually very good. Gateguard is a solid opener. It pairs well with both Mask and Howler for kind of cheap, effective units to place around it. And he even has that Berserker as well to cover wave 10 where the other units are weak.
Yeah, and if he really wants to overbuild in the mid game, the
Oh,
banker will be there for him then.
look at this.
Ooh.
He sniffed it. Ashton is snailing against Burnt, but Burnt, who got an otherwise not very good Fiesta roll, is now going to get a nice leak against this snail.
Yeah, perfect for him. He's gonna have to figure out a way to place this gun eventually, which will test his building skills for sure.
I mean, if anyone can, it's Burnt Das Builder.
Yeah, no doubt. And Green has a very nice gun roll. He's lacking that 13 answer, but with these kind of Legion spells, we might not see a 13.
Yeah, there's some
Wait,
very
what is this?
aggressive
God
Legion spells.
aggro.
Wait, he's holding?
He's got the whole dagger.
He's holding? Unlucky.
Oh man.
So for anyone
What a
who doesn't
beast.
know, the snail into the gate guard is nearly always a 50% leak, sometimes a 42, in very rare cases 33, but the hold is a sub 1% chance, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. I used to literally never see it, but with some of the gate guard buffs and changes with the summons, it became a bit more frequent than that, but
Yeah.
still like a rarity for sure.
Yeah.
And Xcode is tryharding Green into next century.
Meanwhile, Ashton getting away with murder here. He pushed to 6 workers with his gate guard Howler build, and he's just holding as well. Burnt Das Builder, he is going to get the Fiesta here on wave 2 that he missed out on wave 1. That's kind of the ironic thing, right? He got the 1% chance, he got the nice luck, fully holding the snail on 1, but he's playing Fiesta and he actually wanted to leak.
Yeah, it kind of baited them, but unfortunately he's also getting a Fiend here. And with his units... Oh, never mind. He might be okay. I didn't expect him to get the Slime Mummy out, but
Slime
that's
Mummy
pretty
is pretty solid here, yeah. Will Ashton send the snail to pair with that Fiend? There's a lot of question mark pings coming out here from the players. I'm kind of struggling to keep track.
I mean, it is Xgod's preferred way of communicating, so...
Yep. That's true. Anyone who's ever had
Only
the
a
pleasure
60
of playing with
cents.
Xcode?
Yeah, so Green actually not getting that 80 that he could have.
Slime Mummy is on the Fiend. This is very
yeah.
important now if it gets full mana or not. It does. Okay, that's big. And another
Gate
summon
Guard
on the
gets
Gate Guard
the
as
second
well.
kill.
The Fiend will go down. This might just be a really juicy Fiesta.
Yeah.
It might be a full hold as well.
It might just
Meanwhile,
be-
Ashton, he's getting a Fiesta of his own there while playing YOLO. 39%, but he's very fine with that while being 7 workers. And Burnt is just holding.
Is he...
Huh, does he not want to
double
use the
punt
worker button?
backwards? Yeah, seems to be a bit dysfunctional. But, okay. Surely we're hunting one of these.
Surely. One of them goes under. Okay.
We'll allow it.
Meanwhile, there's a dino from Burnt into Xgod's lane. Xgod, though, with the Atom and the Flower, he's looking pretty fine, honestly. And Ashton with
third
his
gate guard
trademark third gate guard. Yeah, he loves this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very solid unit to actually spam. Which might be unexpected, but it can be quite good, even on the wave 4 where it's not supposed to be good.
Oh, but Green Spirit, he's inted his gun here on wave 4. It receives a 40 send, and he's leaking 81% of the wave. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think
I wasn't watching that, but I think his melee units are a square too low. Like, his polywogs are where you normally want the melee units, right?
yeah, I mean, the Garg would be fine if he also put the Howler on the left more.
Yeah,
Or in that poly spot like you mentioned in the middle column.
that's very
But,
unfortunate for Green. But at least Ashton leaks as well against the triple snail there, so that kind of evens it out.
Green just got a little greedy because he got a 60 cent, but I don't know if he forgot he got saved on one, or didn't expect Xcode to be so pushed. But yeah, turns out Julian overbuilding was correct.
Yeah, right. He is able to cover most, if not all, of this leak from Green. And we see some brutes coming out on 5.
Wow.
Meanwhile, this is a
Minus
very
3
intense
police are
1v1 here. Wow,
Yeah.
and the doggo
Wow.
does win.
And Ashen on 9 workers now. Taken off.
Green pops out a Pilgrim here. Very, very good unit on wave 5, but normally you want it to tank the boss, so we'll have to see how his aggro works here. I'm not quite sure how well that's going to go with the gun.
I have no clue. I would imagine that it does not tank before the gun, though. Xcode missing ping his own teammate, which may be correct considering he's getting brooted with gate guards. And they're pretty bad on 5 when Brute is killing them, but what is this
and
aggro?
he pulls the boss to the right as well. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Ashton.
Call this one the Scorpion King incident.
I think we might have an incident, yeah. But Green also managed to have an incident as well, getting his Gatling gun killed here. But his incident looks a lot better, honestly. 39% there, and 89 for Ashton. So that, I think, more than makes up for the mishap in Green's Lane Wave 4.
Yeah, I think Ashton forgot rule 1 of Wave 5, which is to make sure you kill the Scorpion King.
Mm-hmm. And the key to doing that, for the folks at home, is always pulling the Scorpion King into wherever you have the most value, in which case this would have been the left for Ashton, but he actually ended up pulling the boss to the right.
He's going to leak hard if Ashton sends full.
Yeah, wave 6. He is only hunting 1 rat, so he's keeping 1 above ground. Ashton, will he add the lizard here or no? No is the answer, so that's a shame,
nice
actually.
guy.
That would have been a pretty bad leak.
You might be able to get a pro leak now.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
sure. It's
rats...
still a pretty tough stun, but
He has a lot of impact damage, though, which is pretty good on wave 6. 1 gate guard misses the second summon. The slime mummy does get full mana. I think this is looking very, very fine here for Burnt.
yeah. Nice greed from him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the
And
Rocco's
he's
even
gonna
attacking
send-
separate slimes here. Is he just going to get the perfect pro league?
Yeah. Looks
Oh.
that way.
That's kind of rough, actually, for Ashton and X-Guard. This is really nice for Burnt to get such a good pro league.
Wait, is Green going to get to conform lithium threshold
Oh,
now?
he will, right? Because this is going to be a pro league. So Green Spirit can send Mimic on 7 if he wants, though actually not the best send into
Brutes
those
are
gate
better,
guards.
yeah. Or
He
the
goes for
bull,
them
yeah.
all.
It's better
but
against
Burnt.
Hellraiser. But
We were looking at Green Spirit's Mythian number, but Burnt have this big yellow guy to send here on wave 8, on wave 7 even.
that's a tough one to deal with, especially when your best unit on 7 is Kitty Cat. And Ashton going for the Hellraiser means this mole is going to pretty well wreck him.
Mm-hmm.
X got on value at least, but he has invested in... Wait, why didn't he fully stack one of his cats?
Does he just have them both on 6? 6 and
It's like
5,
a 6 and
yeah.
a 5.
Oh, that's maybe a bit of a misstep there from X-God, the
Yeah, I
7th
think he
stack.
might have... Yeah. Not that it makes a huge difference against this guy, but...
Yeah, you're not life-stealing too much against an ogre. Meanwhile, Green Spirit finally fixed his aggro there by adding another gun. So he's able to keep them both alive.
Absolutely wrecked.
X-God, I mean, he's actually done very well there. And Ashton, we thought he was going to be destroyed here by the mole, but he only leaks a very low HP safety mole. Just proving,
Yeah.
if it was needed, Gateguard is OP.
Yeah, he's actually had insane tanking with his mask as well. Really nice positioning from him. And, I mean, that kind of recovers his game. Like, he had some struggles, but holding that power send, and he's going to be able to push hard because of the tantrum now. And he has been auto-sending Julian, basically, the whole game.
Yeah. But as a
Income.
result, he has 162 Mythium on, income, on wave 8. Like, Ashton, he does snowball better than almost any other player in the game, and he's just proving once again why he has that reputation.
Yeah, and here comes the gun from Julian. Should be a decent answer, but it is just going to be Income King.
Mhm.
Not a full send.
So the 160 send into Burnt here on wave 8. And I think he's going to do pretty fine there. Despite having a lot of those impact units very weak traditionally on 8, he also has the gun. And, of course, being Burnt, he has the value.
Mm-hmm. And I think you're looking at a 9 send right now, but Ashen does have, or sorry, 10 send. But Ashen has the Halo for that, so they might think about trying to go 11 if they see that with AoA.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after this kind of.
Yeah, more income sends coming out from the side of X-Crash, just relieving the pressure once again on the side of 10%ers.
But Ashton gonna do the smart thing and not show his Halo. Build the doggos, which are perfect for 9, 10, and 11.
Yeah, the doggos are very respectable on Wave 10 as well, honestly. I've been playing around with them a lot lately, and I find them quite impressive in how quickly they can tear down that Wave 10 boss.
Yeah. Or have you seen them versus GK? They actually murder.
Oh, really?
GK.
Yeah, but then I guess it's the player's fault for sending Ghost Knight into Howlers, right? Alright, we've got 200 income against Green, 100 against Burnt, who is holding as always. Green maybe small pro leaking here.
Yeah, kind of looks like the gun is getting overwhelmed by the Drake.
But does he even kill the last one with the Pilgrim? No, not quite. Okay.
Sweet,
but still, 33% pro leak while they're saving their Mythium. They have 280 each already on the side of the 10%ers. And let's see, do they go for a Wave 10 send, or are they just going all out with the all-out assault on Wave 11? It's 10.
Yeah, I think 10 is reasonable. We showed a boar, and now Ashton's going to show his Halo. He has 2 Halos?
2 Halos. Yeah, okay. And, of course, the Sunfangs. Now, there is a Centaur coming out from Green, which should kind of chew through Ashton pretty quickly. The important thing now is whether or not those Halos actually attack the Centaur before the boss, because they'll kill it very quickly if they do.
Yeah. The worst thing probably would be to split the focus and then not kill either.
Yeah, right. But he's currently on the mobs. He is ignoring the Centaur, but just look how quickly that boss is going down. We talked about the Sunfang Howler combo. He's already lower than 50%. The problem is he's now... oh, wait, no, the mask is still tanking the boss. But meanwhile, though, X-God, who got the 4 Eyes and Double Brute, he did very well, but still leaking. It's only a low HP boss, though, and as a result, they're going to take a ton of king damage, but it's not going to be nearly as much as if they'd had a couple more healthy bosses there.
Yeah, Ashen is just basically 50 income ahead of Julian.
Wow.
And yeah, they don't have as many workers, but he'll make that up when he decides to push them now. Oh, are they going for AoE 12, maybe? Or is it just going to be a resend after income?
Oh, well, Burnt has actually gone for a counter-attack, full suicide push.
So just 12.
Yeah. And Green, Green Spirit, he's pretty much full pushing as well. So both of these guys, 26 workers on Green, 25 on Burnt, fast and aggressive, just the way they like it. Problem is, X-God's going to have death caps and red eyes options for 12. Ashton's not looking great there, but he's going to have insane value.
Yeah, if X-God takes sack and destroys one of his kitties, that'll probably be more than enough value. And he does.
Oh, okay, so the send does not come here on 11. So kind of lucky there, actually, for X-God, because he ended up shifting 100 gold by taking the sacrifice so late.
Yeah. Is Julian going to be able to pro league, or is the gun just too strong?
I think he does pro league this. And that's counterattack and Fiesta value, the double there for him. And Green Spirit.
I think X-God and Ashton are aware now.
I think they probably know what's going on, yeah. So expect X-God and Ashton to send here. Whether it's full or income king, we will have to see. Here come the big sends now from Green and Burnt.
Centaur. Sure, I love it into death caps and a boar. I think range sends might have been more useful, but what?
X-God and Ashton actually save their Mythium here? That's crazy to me. Yeah, he's a little bit under there. Minus 520 value for X-God. Ashton's closer to value when he finishes spending, but he doesn't have good units on 12 at all, really. X-God, you have to use your sacrifice here. Like, he can turn one of these kitties into a death cap, right? That has to be his best play. And he does.
Okay, there we go.
Now he's looking a lot less dodgy.
Okay, they're going king ups.
And they're maxing the king. Okay. All right, I'm less worried now. But still, these are massive sends here. 660 for X-God, 620 for Ashton. And the pack imps is going to shred through his natural armor.
Yeah, very, very strong. And they provide so many targets for the Hellraiser that you don't get quite as much of that damage, and he is dead, and he is also dead, and they are super dead, I think.
113% lead for X-God, 96% for Ashton, and the King is strong. They did max both attack and spell, but he has to be very strong now.
This is going to be his hardest battle.
Ashton's calling the GG, but let's see what the King has to say about that. Wait. The King?
Chilling.
Okay, 10% remaining on the King, and now X-God full sends?
And Ashton panic sends income?
And
into a Phoenix?
Green Spirit has 700 gold. Okay.
Yeah, sure, no worries. I think they didn't expect to live.
I think they didn't expect to live, and then when they did, they didn't really know what to do about it.
Yeah, they were like, oh, well, that's interesting. I mean, you would have wanted 13, I guess, but 15 would have also been reasonable. Okay, here we go. Mole Cannoneers.
Yeah, but both Green and Burnt are on value, with Arctairs for Green, with Phoenix for Burnt, and it's a really good tanking Phoenix as well. I mean, it's just an easy hold for Burnt, right? Like, the Cannoneers just not the send against him, and Green Spirit, I mean, he's going to leak, but it's going to be like 2 creeps.
Yeah, even the gun split tanking somehow perfectly.
Yeah, this is really good aggro, but I mean, it kind of doesn't matter when you have so much value. They're just really comfortably ahead. In fact, it's only 1 creep leak here from Green. This is just perfect.
Counterattack.
And you're calling the wave 15 send, which I can definitely see being good against X-God and Ashton. Sure, X-God has the Hades option, but the rest of his stuff is pretty weak, and Burns is just going to have an insane amount of Mythium.
Yeah, it will take X-God about 4 centuries to kill the Kraken.
Yeah.
Or the 2 Krakens, maybe.
The 2 Krakens, yeah.
Okay, Ashton will do the intelligent thing, prep some mass, but Green is literally full pushing? Or, nope, I think he pushed all along. I don't know if he's going to Sui.
He might even sell one of his gargoyles or something to push another one.
Yeah. Sell this Polly at least, man.
Yeah, the Polly's just chilling, man. He hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah, forgive me.
You monster!
Alright, so, I mean, Ashton is gonna be on value if they send. That's a positive.
Yeah.
Downside being that I think he can't really deal with tanks. aka, like, whether it's spam or just Ghost Knight even. I know he has a Halo, but it's just gonna be damage.
He's sending the Cannoneers, so that's a very Ashton style play, by the way, to just go for Cannoneers when the game is about to end.
X-God? X-God seems to disagree with the Cannoneer send.
X-God did not get the memo. He's going for the full send here into Green Spirit, who adds a ball, pretty good against Needler. Yeah,
I think these guys might be a bit troublesome for X-God. Maybe the cats will be able to take it out eventually.
Yeah. And there are the 2 Krakens there walking into X-God's lane. I mean, I'm just going to keep my camera poised here over X-God and Ashton's lane because this is where the action's going to be. This is where the game will be decided.
Huge mistake. He should be fine.
Alright, guys, we have 1,000 Mythium for X-God, 1,020 for Ashton Butcher. I mean, sure, they've got some good units, the prepped masks, the Hades, but like you say, 1 Kraken is down in X-God's lane. The second one just barely dying, but already his tanks have already died. And Ashton, I mean, he's going to leak as well pretty decently. 114 for X-God. Ashton doesn't even live long enough. The forfeit comes out far too quickly.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a game.
I cannot believe they skipped 12.
Yeah, the 12 skip.
They had some nerve.
I mean, it was super risky, and it did come back to bite them. I mean, at least they used their Mythium for the King upgrades, because otherwise they would have just straight up died on 12. But already they're so far behind after giving away all of that gold to Green and Burnt, and their hard worker push there on wave 11 just really, really paying off for them.
Another cool mid-game call for the boys.
Yeah. Really, really nicely played there by the 10%ers, and this does give them a 1-0 advantage in the all-important last chance match. Remember, guys, only one of these two teams make it through to tomorrow's semi-final, and the other goes home with nothing. So, Offma,
I mean,
what does XGod and Ashton need to do differently in game number 2?
well, apparently they decided they need to switch the sending order.
All right, let's get
But
into the
I
lobby.
would say I think they just need to, one, be a bit more coordinated, and maybe don't overthink the game.
Mhm.
Because I think they were worried about some sort of like trap play where they like bait a full push and then they send 12, but they actually didn't push anything. And then they send 12 into guns and then they lose on 14. But
Yeah.
they kind of went for the obvious play, which was use aggressive spells and double gun to push super hard.
Yeah. It was really good play, and of course, Burnt getting the super counter attack value as well.
Yep.
It just is mind-boggling to me that Ashton and XGod don't send when they see that happening, because they have to know what's coming. I mean, either that it's a really obvious play, but maybe it's like a really 5-head bait where they just want to force Ashton and XGod to send on wave 12 into their double Vulcan cannon builds, and then Ashton and XGod are in a really rough position. But either way, it feels like they were just backed into a corner, because if it's a bait and they send, then they lose the game. If it's not a bait and they don't send, then they lose the game. So either way, they kind of are forced into making a really tough decision there.
Yeah, I think the safest play for them would have been to income there and try and let Ashton outscale and win the game by himself, kind of. But yeah, I guess they were very worried about it being a switch up. So it's not like Green and Julian don't do those kind of things as well, or can't do those, but sometimes the simple play is just what you have to see.
Yeah. I mean, we have to have a best of 3 on the cast. I know we jumped into the end of one just now, but we have to see like a full best of 3 series, right?
Yeah.
So Ashton and XGod surely going to win here in game number 2.
Sure.
All right,
So
looks
they
like
are swapping the send order. Yeah, intentionally.
Okay, very cool, very cool.
To know if it's wanting to pressure Julian more or just wanting Green to not send to Ashton. Not sure.
Well, it was Ashton and XGod choosing, right?
Yeah, I would assume that they have desired this, and just not sure why exactly. Maybe
Why?
they just
Yeah.
felt that it feels better for them in game.
Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe.
I know Green likes sending to Ashton, so
Maybe
they
that's
also
why.
feel that.
All right,
Redraw.
guys, we have match point now for the 10%ers. If they win here, they've knocked X-Crash out of the finals in day 1. That would be an upset.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But I mean, either one of these teams not making a day 2 is pretty surprising, to be honest. But
Yep.
there's only 4 spots, so.
And we see Ashton with the Fiesta. I mean, the balls on this man, by the way. Like, this is his the all-important game. Lose this one, you're out of the tournament, and he just goes, Fiesta. No worries.
Greed is just too boring for him.
Mhm.
XGod going for redraw this game. Kind of surprised to see him pick it, but I know he likes it when there's Sorcerer in the game for sure. 'Cause he likes to force Poto or Archer if he can. Not
Yep.
sure if Vamp makes him do the same. Not sure exactly what he would be looking for. Not sure what Ashland's going to open either. I mean, he has some weird Fiesta openers he can do.
Yeah,
It seems he
I
doesn't
don't
know.
love that.
I think this holds.
I think this holds to no send, yeah.
I think you need the Garg to die in order to leak with this opener.
So it needs to be higher?
Yeah, I think you want your Garg to rat down, because it does a lot of damage.
Hmm.
Or, well, that's more damage than a Warg, for example. But it pretty sure it clears pretty slowly anyways.
Yeah, it's going to be a really slow wave, and Ashton presumably is going to push 6 workers. Green is already question mark pinging it, so he sniffs that there's something fishy going on.
It simply does not look right when someone decides to build a Warg Garg as their opener, I must say.
Yeah, and this is an easy hold for Ashton.
Yeah. But still? Is it long enough for him to get 40 out? 'Cause that would be the goal. But I guess
It
not.
is not. No.
Uh,
He does go for the
well.
6th worker, though. So interesting now whether Burnt decides to snail check him here on wave 2.
Yeah, it's a tough call. Like, I mean, it's kind of a coin flip. Whether or not you want a long wave 2, Julian's getting saved on. He went 5 workers, maybe doesn't want to possibly get 80, so he doesn't snail. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, if this goes long wave, Exo is on super high workers with Flower.
Mm-hmm. And I think
But-
Green has confirmed his
Yeah.
suspicions now that Ashton is playing Fiesta. This is going to be a pretty sizable leak, actually, even to no cent.
Yeah, I think we're looking at something like 50%. Which is
42.
okay. Could be worse.
Respectable, yeah. But he's going to get a yes send on wave 3, and he's not looking incredible there with the Warg.
Can Julian get out a Green Devil? Because if he can, then he's kind of saved.
He cannot.
He is just gonna take this dino. He didn't send.
I
Would
think
he have gotten it?
he would have got it, right? Yeah, he would have gotten it.
Yeah, wait, he is. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I
He-
mean,
He only needed to send 40 Mythium to get that Green Devil, and it would have made him
and he
perform
has
very
lower
well here.
split. This is just okay. He saw that something bad might happen if he gets dino.
Nice, okay, good. And there's the Dino. I mean, something bad might very well still happen in Burns Lane, but let's have a quick look at the others. X-God's going to be fine. Ashton get no send here. He's actually going to hold.
Yeah,
And Burnt with that Dino. He's actually doing incredibly well. He's killing all of those small hoppers, ignoring the Dino. Wow,
definitely some power with Archer.
he's just going to hold everything but the Dino?
Yeah, I mean, guy's just a beast, I guess.
Yeah,
Didn't
absolute
need the Green
unit.
Devil.
Absolute
Now he
unit,
gets a
Burnt
long way for
Asprot.
his son.
He has 100 Mythium nearly. And Ashton, he's going to be in trouble.
Fiend DT? Or just the Cannoneer and keeping it simple? Ah, Fiend DT,
Fiend
what a
DT.
beast.
Okie dokie.
Perfect. Fiend into the, what could be Looter, and then DT into the Sea Dragon.
Ashton does have Serpent as well if he wants to go for that route, but it looks like he's going double Sea Dragon, which is an interesting decision.
It is certainly better on 5, but yeah, it's a bit worse here. I guess his gold is slightly worse with Serpent. He'll be shifting like 8 gold then, but oh, actually he sends a snail with it, so the Fiend and the DT are murdering the Sea Dragon.
He's getting really nice aggro as well, with the Warg attacking the Snail,
Yeah.
with the Dragons attacking the DT. This was just perfect for Burnt Asprot. Ashton, on the other hand, slightly less perfect for him. He's even ignoring those chickens. 110% leak there for the Butcher. Very, very
Perfect
cool.
play. Really insane play by Julian so far. Kind of dominating this early game.
Yeah. I mean, this is just really clean play from these guys so far.
Yeah, he's had definitely the hardest early game with having to deal with Dino on 3, and yet he's still having the pressure advantage to destroy Ashton.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to hand it to him, really. Having the presence of mind not to send 40 Mythium on that wave 3, where he knew he was getting a big send, right? And it would have given him a Green Devil, so you have to be tempted. But he didn't go for it. He held incredibly well against that Dino, and as a result was able to 110% leak Ashton there on wave 4.
Yeah.
So really nicely played so far by Burnt.
Looks like his trials aren't done, though.
Oh,
Here
that's
comes
a
his
Hermit.
next test.
I mean, the Hermit's good against his Archer, but kind of
it's a-
terrible against everything
It's not-
else.
It's not like the Hermit is healing up these creeps from the Archer right now.
Yeah.
Archer hasn't even hit them yet. And the Green Devil is really strong versus the Hermit's magic damage.
Yeah, and it also does decent single target damage against the small scorpions as well. So sure, he's going to leak, but it's not terrible.
Yeah,
Even gets one more.
Okay.
52% there for Burn. I think he's very happy with that against a Hermit and a couple of Snails. Remember,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
minus income for the rest of the game for X-God.
Yeah, and he started off with redraw to begin with, so if we take a look, Green is making pretty good advantage of the saving from Julian so far. He's on 9 workers, using that Aqua, which is quite strong. Not able to get the harp here, but I think he'll be okay with other stuff. Abusing that double gate guard.
Yeah, the Drake is so good on the new Wave 6 with the damage amp. And X-God, oh no, he's making a bit of a costly misread here. He's going for the Hellraiser, thinking the send is coming on Wave 7, but that untantrumed Hellraiser is just not going to be it here against the Drake.
Especially since I don't think it's tanking 3.
That's a 180 send, Hoffma. This is a serious amount of Mythium to deal with on Wave 6. Sure, it's income mercenaries, but that Drake is just chewing through the swift armor in X-God's lane.
Yeah.
It really
Just
is doing
amazing.
work. That's going to be a massive, massive leak for him.
Got the DT.
We did get the DT, but that's a 98% leak. And remember, this is just off the back of Ashton's 110% leak on 4. It seems that the 10%ers are taking no prisoners here in the last chance bracket.
I was gonna say luckily, but he does not hold.
He
He
does
gets a
not
good Fiesta though.
He gets a good Fiesta, sure. Yeah, that's a silver lining to this cloud.
Yeah. It's a tough one. And I think they're gonna have to deal with an 8 send next. I think everyone is gonna deal with an 8 send. Julian looking the best there, and maybe he'll get skipped, but everyone else looking like they might struggle versus some power merit.
Mm-hmm.
Ashen has the deep coiler, but we all know that deep coiler can have some access to Wave 8.
Yeah, especially if there's like a mole or hermit involved. But just look at the power scores off me. It's really telling a story. Green Spirit so far ahead there. 1.7 to the 1.5 of X-God. And Jules is giving the side 64% likelihood of winning this match, which I think is generous to X-Crash, honestly.
Yeah, it's a really nice double cash out scenario where you get you got a long wave 2 and you're able to use the cash out gold to hold the wave 3s really efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of snowballed the extra gold there into that income. Ashton has done a good job of keeping himself up, and same with X-God. Like, they aren't super behind. Or the behindness isn't showing quite yet, and they're going to go for this Triad Send.
They do go for the moles on 8, but Green and Burnt, they are saving their Mythium. Tee-hee-hee, let's go one longer. And Green actually going for a Harbinger here on 8. So I do think he's going to leak quite decently here. Burnt, he has 2 archers, but the rest of his stuff is kind of bad here, other than the 1 Green Devil. I can certainly see some decent leaks here. I can see some pretty good king damage, actually.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to if Julian just has enough value. Obviously, the mole is very efficient, but there's a good amount of tanks here, and the archers will eventually kill the wave.
Well, the archers are really nicely focusing just the corner of the wave, though, so they're shredding through those cobras. Meanwhile,
they basically
the
turn themselves into single target.
Yeah,
And
I mean, now they're
they
on the
single
mole,
weak target the mole.
but I think they've done enough work against the wave, because they just kill it so quickly. Green Spirit, though, slightly less perfect there. 98% leak from his lane. Burnt is covering, though. Like, he did so well in his own lane.
Yeah.
This guy's just playing out of his mind here, Offmer.
Yeah, I mean, he even correctly underpushed after that 5 cent. Like, he's on value, understood that wave 8, if they want to go 9, he needs to hold.
Mm-hmm.
And
He does.
He is doing his job in every single way.
Yep. Meanwhile, Ashton now receiving a 260 send from Burnt, who will probably get a Brute to go with it as well.
This combo is really, really strong, but and he's on value, so I think he actually has a decent shot here. With the new damage reduction change for Alpha Male, it's just super
the
efficient with
Lifebinder.
healing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lifebinder does so much damage as well on 9. And I mean, the question is, like, usually you can get overrun with builds like this, but I mean, he is on value.
Yeah, we'll find out. This Mimic is going to chew on his split, so everything over there dies very, very quickly. It's now back on the Alpha Male. Can the healing do its job? That is the question. For now, it looks like it's doing very well, and there will be a critical mass here. Another heal, but just not enough. Just not enough. It was so close to being, like, invincible there. Meanwhile, X-God, he's doing very, very well. He leaks 2 creeps only against the 320. And Ashton, I mean, he's pretty happy with that performance as well.
Yeah, and not bad. And considering X-God even saved here, That's a very nice hold from him. Obviously, he was 9 workers. They are both on value and leaking. So it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than taking Super King damage here and not having a chance to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now we do have a bit of a Mythium lead for X-God in particular with 175 there. Ashton is catching up because he's got decent workers. Wave 11, I could see a wave 11, yeah. They don't want to give away Venture. There's giant snails on the table as well, which is really good against the Trinity Archers and the Aquas. They don't yet know about Green Spirit's Great Ball, but that is going to be pretty solid here for him as well.
Yeah, the thing is, with Venture in the game, normally you look at like these builds, you're thinking 13 already, but Venture kind of changes that dynamic, because if even one of them greeds and goes Venture, you kind of lose the game going long 13.
Yeah, right.
Especially if there's a long wave here, I would assume people will send.
There is a hold there from Green. I was a bit worried about him with the Aquas and the Harbingers, but he had enough value to make it just fine. We get income sends from all 4 players, actually, so everyone just snowballing their own economy above all else.
Will we see more Ventures? We see 2 already. X-God probably looking the worst on this wave out of everybody. Like, one thing I could see Julian do is Venture double Harden and try and hold that way. But
Yeah.
Going Vamp is perfectly reasonable when your teammate goes Venture. You don't need to double take a risk.
Yeah, right. Meanwhile, Ashton has taken the risk, of course. That's to be expected. And X-God, he's really looking at that risk, you know? But he decides to go for a build instead.
Yeah.
Takes a vampire of his own.
Some value. Not amazing, but...
Now, Ashton, he got the LOD down. He already has the Lifebinder Alpha Male combo. I expect him to be more than fine against this income send. X-God, his build's much weaker here, and it does look like he's going to go for a bit of a leak as a result. Not a terrible one, though.
Yeah, he needed the Vamp, really.
Yeah, he needed the Vamp. Meanwhile, Green and Burnt, they're both easy holding as well. And yeah, as expected, X-God does go for a leak here. 42%, maybe a little bit unfortunate. A couple of those Quillbores, very, very low HP.
Yeah, his spot is definitely the worst so far in the game, but it's not like he's so far out he can't be a participant. But I think this game will go long. Probably 15 would be the natural answer, I suppose.
We have a 25 gold shutdown on Green Spirit, the Zookeeper. And yeah, I could see 15 being a good call from both teams, especially with that Venture in the game. You don't want to go for a wave 13 send, right? So they're going to have to be, they're going to be forced to go a bit longer.
You save 14 would be ideal against Ashton's like natural magic damage build, but kind of rough to go 14 without Giga pushing. And since we're chilling on 17 workers, I'm assuming we're not going 14.
But Ashton and X-God, they did do a bit of pushy though.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's worth trying to create some sort of advantage here. If they're going for like an undercut, that could also be reasonable. Considering they're behind, they want to get some damage first.
Or is X-God leaking to no send? He is.
Vampire.
Oh wait, no, the Orchid wins this. This is
yeah, I guess
pretty intense.
Or?
Oh! Orchid, what an absolute animal.
Unfortunately, it doesn't bait anything. If anything, it's not bad for them. They have more workers, right? They generally favor longer waves.
Yep.
If that means that they get to some sort of Mythium thresholds to send on a weaker wave, but I don't know. X-God looks like he's just Giga undervalue on 14, but he has good units.
He does have good units, and meanwhile Ashton, he's on value, but he has bad units, so it's kind of yeah, it's a bit rough for these guys to save past 14, I think, especially when they're only on 60% King.
Yeah, well, I mean, with their Paras combined, they have good builds with good units, right?
Well, yeah, between them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like Green wants to save because he's plus 250. Same with Julian. There's like both value with them. And I think everybody will.
They do save though, yeah. I mean, that's That's got to be nerve-wracking there for Ashton and XGod, because they're both just not good at all on wave 14. Even though there is the Doomsday, like we said, for XGod, he's just super undervalued, minus 600 here, and Ashton just doesn't have a single good unit for wave 14.
It looks like he's just trusting his value, building a Hades here. I mean, the thing he has to deal with is Kraken.
Yeah.
If he can, I would say he probably even wants the Kraken left to let his Alpha Male Lioness try and help him kill it. Sending the Kraken to the split and then having the Kraken wrap your DPS is like pretty bad most of the time. We'll see what he goes for, because I would assume everyone is sending here.
And solid presence of mind there from Ashton to go for the Hades here. I suppose he didn't really have a choice. It's not like there's anything in his role that would have been better on 14. Although he has still got the reroll button available, so maybe...
Yeah, not sure. He should probably dig for, I don't know, Tempest, like a beast.
Yeah. Tempest would be incredible, actually, right here.
Yeah.
Buffing his Hades, buffing his Life Binders.
That's like buffing 1.2k value or something. Yeah. Pretty efficient. But we'll see what he goes for here. It's a pretty nice send from Julian. Kraken plus the Mimic, which is very good at it's good against Green Devils. It's somewhat tanky against all the magic damage. And Ashton committing to just full for 15. There's no other wave that matters for him to hold. So I understand it completely.
Alright, these are some big boy sends here off me. We've got 660 Mythium for Ashton, 700 for XGod, 860 for Green, and 800 for Burnt Das Brot.
Yeah, you can definitely see that Julian and Green are getting the bigger sends.
But Burnt is just chewing through the wave. I think he might leak small. Green, he's doing very, very well. XGod leaks 115%. Green 77. Ashton 122 though. And Burnt Das Builder, he almost but didn't kill the boss. But I think this is all she wrote, Offma. I think that the Team X-Crash have been knocked out of this August Nova Cup already on day one.
Yeah, it looks like the Kryptonite.
Wow.
And Julian cooking up the recipe since last finals.
Yeah, I mean, this is last month's champions knocked out on day one. This is pretty spicy stuff. And Green Spirit and Burnt Das Brot, the 10%ers, they are coming swinging this time around, it seems.
Yeah. Not messing around. 2-2-0s.
I mean, just look at the win probability graph. These guys were just dominating this game number 2, right? They were in the lead from start to finish. They just never took their foot off the gas, and they just didn't give Ashton and XGod any room to breathe. Like, we saw a pretty decent Fiesta to Ashton there for no send. Didn't receive a send on 3, where Burnt just did phenomenally well against the Dino send. And then we get the 110% against Ashton, followed by the 98% against XGod on 6. They lose a ton of king damage already, wave 6. Then we get Shaw, a bit of a leak from Green on 8, but Burnt is able to not just hold his own lane, but fully cover in the mid. And then there's a bit of a counter punch there on 9. Nothing too special, not too much damage taken. A bit more income on 11 into straight mega sends on 15 to close out the game. This was a spicy one, Offma.
Yeah, just really insane stuff from Julian in that early game, I gotta say.
Yep.
Completely just dominated that and got them their lead.
Yeah, Burnt played very, very well that game. But of course, you know, these games always take 2 players to make a team, and Green Spirit was enabling his mate as well. This was really solid play from the both of them. And I mean, to be fair, X-Crash played pretty well as well. You know, this is very high level Legion where the tiniest mistake can cost you a game, and we did see that happen once or twice. But, you know, they got to be proud of the way they play today as well, and hopefully we see good things from X-Crash in next month's tournament. But yeah, we do have our 2 teams moving on to tomorrow's semi-finals. That is Team Abraceat, who were undefeated so far today, and the 10%ers who, despite having a bit more of a rocky road to the finals, have still made it, and they will be in your finals tomorrow as well. So yeah, we're going to have some pretty cool games tomorrow, Offma. Do you have any results from the other bracket?
Looking at the challenge, and it unless my eyes deceive me, it looks like the sweaty tryhards were taken out by Team Ram Pam Pam, which is
Wow.
Fine and Potted.
Okay, so
Another
Fine and
first-time
Ported, the 3K players, have knocked out Adams and Chuvis. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a very nice result for them. And it seems like Lucy and Drakir were clearing the other side.
Okay,
So
so
they come out
Lucy
as
and
the first
Drakir,
seed.
yeah, undefeated. Same as Team Abraceat. So those two Titans are going to face off maybe tomorrow. But if there are the undefeated teams from their seed, then they won't play each other until
Yeah.
the finals, right? That's assuming they both
Yeah.
make it to the finals.
Maybe setting up for our El Clasico that we've been missing, I guess, in the finals the last few
Yeah,
months.
we haven't seen it for a few months. We've had some other teams making it to the semi-finals, Abraceat and Drakir and Lucy. Obviously, they've had a long-standing rivalry with Abraceat denying any tournament victories for a very long time against Lucy and Drakir until that dry spell was broken and they won 3 or 4 in a row. So that was pretty spicy stuff. But those are going to be some very cool games tomorrow, Twitch chat, so make sure you're around for those. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. Offma, any last words from you before we end the stream?
Nope. Just looking forward to seeing some more excellent gameplay from the top 4.
Oh, same here, same here. In that case, then, I'm just going to give a few shout-outs. So, obviously, firstly, to my beautiful co-caster, Offma, for making it such a pleasure to join the cast. It's been amazing. Huge shout-out to Bosun for the overlay. I think that's made a big difference to the viewing experience. I hope you guys have enjoyed that overlay. I know I have. It's a really great addition to watching Legion games on Twitch. And, of course, a massive shout out to our tournament organisers who make this thing run as smoothly as possible. Now, we've had some really cool content creation from Shadow with the hype video, and for anyone who did miss out on this absolute banger from Nictier, this was a world first reveal of his new top 10 hit, GG's That Was Me, and I think there is no more fitting way to play out the show than another repeat of Nick T with GG, That Was Me.